You make plans for just about everything, the weekend, vacation, going out to dinner, but have you created a plan for the rest of your life? Start your financial strategy today with AXA Advisors. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC.
If you're a basketball parent or coach, you need StatGeek, the simplest way to keep stats ever created. Our easy-to-use iPad app turns anyone into a professional statistician, and all they have to do is simply follow the ball. Produce full and accurate box scores and play-by-play reports. Send accurate stats out to your fans, media, or recruiters. It's sports statistic collection redefined. StatGeek is available right now in the iPad App Store for just $4.99, and there are team fundraising opportunities available as well. On the web at statgeek.com. StatGeek, keep your eye on the ball.
Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert. The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores! 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
Back at Pennington Field, we're about 6.5 minutes until the opening kickoff. It's Trinity against Marcus on Champion Sports Radio. This is the ShockboxDFW.com pregame show here on Champion Sports Radio. Kerry Lowry, Thomas Lee, Pete Nielsen patrolling the sidelines all throughout the game on a nice night that's not going to have any weather implications to speak of. Maybe just a little bit of a wind, but nothing like we had earlier in the week with some cold and rainy type conditions.
Yeah, the weather tonight really is nice. It's very playoff atmosphere-like before this cool front really wears off and we get back up into, I think, the 70s over the weekend. This definitely is going to have that crisp, cool fall air. And I think that's, I think it's important to help everybody get in the right mindset. I know it sure helps me whenever it's cooler outside and you got to at least put on long pants to go out to a game.
That's right. The fans are bundled up a little bit. They're on their feet now as the Trinity Trojans have come out of their inflatable tunnel, and the Marcus Marauders will be next to come out of theirs.
Time now for the pregame haka as the entire team gathers together in front of the Trinity bench. And it looks like it's being led by Afoka Olie, 6 foot, 283-pound senior. This, of course, is in honor of the Polynesian and Tongan descent of many of the members of the community. Looks like Inoke Nalo is also helping lead this right here, and it's always a pretty impressive feat to see all of these young men out there, no matter their background or where they were raised, just embracing the heritage of the warrior dance here, the haka. And, of course, the fans love it every time it comes out. And I have not seen a coach in a long time, an opposing coach, that lets his team come out on the field while the haka is going on. I think it's one more thing that adds to the Trinity mystique whenever you have your players not worried about what they're about to do, but focused on what's going on with them and going, oh, man, this is going to be tough. Most coaches have gotten smart enough to go ahead and just hold his kids in the locker room until it's time to come out after that's done.
We're about 4 minutes to opening kickoff. It's Trinity against Marcus. Trinity, again, ranked number 14 in the state. In the computer rankings of 245 schools, Marcus is ranked number 80. So despite their record, they are in the top third of all 5A schools in the state, and that's a testament to their schedule. And this game is no different. In fact, believe it or not, Trinity, this game here, this is the highest ranked team in the computer rankings that Trinity has faced since the 4th week of the season, since they faced Heritage. So we talk about the district that Trinity is in, and they pretty much win district every single season, and with the exception of LD Bell was going to be a test for them, and it ended up not being. But all of those teams technically behind Marcus in the power rankings.
And for Trinity, you talk about another district championship. Coach Lineweaver, this is his 14th season. This is their 14th trip to the playoffs. They have a very impressive 37-10 record in postseason play under head coach Steve Lineweaver. Of course, the 3 championship seasons, 2005, 2007, 2009. Since then, it's been what could have been, obviously losing in the finals in 2010, trying to make it back-to-back championships, and the last couple of years, an Arlington Martin team that really jumped up and was playing some really good football in 2011, and then last year going up against the Carroll Dragons and the great Kenny Hill, a very hard-fought 16-7 loss. And so it's just interesting how it all kind of comes through. One bounce or two goes differently in a couple of those seasons. We're talking about a lot more than 3 championships, but 3 championships is very impressive.
This is something I looked at, and we didn't talk about this before, so nothing scripted here. Look at the, 2006 loss to South Lake Carroll. South Lake Carroll went on to win the championship that year. Is that correct?
Well, that was also the game at Texas Stadium where there were over 55,000 in attendance, including myself, as I was getting ready to call Hebron's second-round matchup with Cedar Hill. What a fantastic doubleheader that was back in the old days of the great stadium. But yeah, South Lake Carroll did go on and win a championship that year.
2007,
to your point.
The Trinity won. So,
absolutely.
Okay. 2008, they lost to Allen in the quarterfinals. I had the pleasure of calling that game. Allen went on to win their first state title at 5A.
They did.
2009, lost to Westlake in the finals. Trinity did. So therefore, they faced the champions.
Well, they won in overtime
against Westlake.
Yep.
So they won the championship there. They lost in the finals at 2010 against Pearland, right? And
correct.
Therefore, the road went through Trinity. I guess you see my point. You have to play Trinity how many times to be the champion, it seems like. In 2011, Martin did not go on to win the title. But in 2012, South Lake Carroll, I believe, did, right?
That's 7 out of 8 years that Trinity either won or lost to the eventual state champion.
I mean, you tell me if that's not playoff tradition right there.
That is not a bad start, to say the least. Absolutely. They've done such great, amazing work. It's so tough, the way that these kids are taught to fight hard, to how they focus on the details, and they play what I consider to be winning football. You run the ball, you stop the run, and you try to force turnovers. And when you do that, you're going to win an awful lot of ball games. Coach Lineweaver, 160 wins now, this in his 14th season. You only play 10 regular season games. I mean, that just shows you right there how successful they've been.
We're going to take a break here on the ShockboxDFW.com pregame show. Come back and bring you to the opening kickoff here at Pennington Field. You're listening to the Texas High School Football Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're committed to being the #1 hospital in Northeast Tarrant County. And we're doing it in a number of ways, like 550 physicians, 43 unique specialties, 300 beds, and 24-hour emergency service, to name a few. And here's one more number, 40. As in, we're proud to be your hometown team for healthcare 40 years and counting. Who's #1 in Northeast Tarrant County? Texas Health HEB. Visit texashealth.org/HEB.
When you want to start a financial strategy, you need one-on-one guidance from some of the best trained professionals in the financial services business. AXA Advisors is part of a global company helping millions of people pursue their financial goals. Contact Thomas Lee with AXA Advisors today to get started on your financial strategy. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC.
Do you need a boost in exposure? Want to reach local, community-minded folks with information about your business? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast over 600 games for more than 3.5 million listeners. And Champion Sports Radio wants to help you use major high school sports to reach thousands of local fans right in your community. It's also a way for your business to give back to the community by helping all these well-deserving student-athletes get some recognition for their accomplishments. The cost simply can't be beat for the effect it will have. You get a lot of bang for your buck, and best of all, it provides an opportunity for the best advertisement of all, word of mouth. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334 or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcast.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
Back at Pennington Field, the ShockboxDFW.com pregame show. Trinity and Marcus about to start. The teams are on the field. The field is cleared of the pregame festivities here at Pennington, and we are about to be underway. The coin toss just took place. Trinity won the toss and elected to defer their option to the second half. Therefore, they will come out and kick off to Marcus.
And that's typical Coach Lineweaver mentality right there. It's we want to start out with the best phase of football we can put out there. That's typically their defense. And then have the option in the second half to try to figure out if we need to speed it up or have one of those dominating 7-minute plus drives that they are famous for.
Cullen Shipp is the kicker. The senior for Trinity has it teed up and puts his foot into it from the 40-yard line. This one is high and short enough to return at the 8-yard line. Bringing it back, knocked down immediately, is Cushing at the 15-yard line. A very short return, and Marcus will start first down and 10 from the 15. Throwing it down to Pete Nielsen on the field.
Little bit of a cross breeze on the field right now, but absolutely perfect. No rain right now. Cross breeze might make a little bit of a difference, but that's about it. Back up to you guys.
12 minutes on the clock in Texas high school football. We're in the first quarter. Marcus opening possession, sends one receiver out to the far right side. I formation behind the quarter, and a fumble on the very first play. It's going to be picked up by Trinity. The very first play from scrimmage, the ball is dropped on a pitch play, and the Trinity Trojans take over. If you needed a momentum change early, this is it. Trinity lined up at the 15-yard line immediately.
It's not what Coach Irwin wanted. Not even by a long shot. You had a great job by the Trojan special teams unit down there covering the kick, keeping them inside the 20 to start the drive. And then the first play, the toss just can't quite get the handle. The Trojans knocking on the door.
Christian Hammock, the quarterback of the Trinity Trojans, goes under center for the first play. Coming into motion is Gonzalez. It's going to be a handoff right up the middle. It is stopped immediately, in fact, for a loss on the play. And it was Isaac Ellsworth hit by that Marcus defense, and that'll be a loss of 1.
What a job by Michael McMillan following behind the pulling guard as they ran all the action to the right side and countered back to the left. There was nowhere to go because McMillan hung with his assignment and was there.
Edric Gonzalez goes out far right as the huddle breaks. Under center is Christian Hammock. I formation. He fakes it, runs option right, keeps it. He's going to get into the end zone. Touchdown, Christian Hammock, and the Trinity Trojans are on the board in the first minute of tonight's game.
Talk about a tough position. You're there on the end of the line. You have contain, and the quarterback did not hand it off to the fullback. He spins around. He can pitch it, and you're sitting there in no man's land. Do I take the pitch man? Do I take the quarterback? What do I need to do? A great ball fake by Hammock pulled the linebacker out of the way, and then Christian, with a little juke move, scampers in for the touchdown.
His 4th touchdown run of the season, and here is the extra point by Cullen Shipp. It is up. It is good. And a quick 7-0 lead for the Trinity Trojans, and Marcus has turned the ball over early, exactly what they did not want to do, but they have a chance to make up for it here when we come back in just a moment. You're listening to Texas High School Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
What does a Level 3 Trauma Center mean in an emergency? Everything. And Texas Health HEB is the only Level 3 Trauma Center in Northeast Tarrant County. Along with our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation and Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, that means an exceptional level of care is close by when you need it most. With 24-hour emergency physicians and highly trained nurses with advanced trauma certifications. When every second counts, nothing matters more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
Never do today what you can put off until tomorrow, right? Now, that's not exactly the saying, but it seems like people would rather do anything other than doing something about their finances. That's why there's AXA Advisors. We work one-on-one with you to create a financial strategy for the things you need tomorrow. Start your financial strategy today with AXA Advisors. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors, LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC.
And we've been here before. Here is the kickoff by Shipp. It's down high. It goes to the other side this time for Marcus. Jack Cushing has it at the 7-yard line. He's going to come forward now, cut toward the hash marks, and he's going to be taken out at the 23-yard line, and that's where Marcus will start, first down and 10.
Two-play, 15-yard drive for the touchdown for the Trojans off of the opening fumble by the Marauders. And, yeah, Marcus now in kind of an almost desperate situation.
Quick snap, pitch back, it's Demery, and Demery goes up the middle. Nice yardage here, close to a first down. If the pile moves, it does. It will move the chains for the Marcus Marauders. A much better turnout than their first play from scrimmage, which was a fumble on their first series.
Really interesting what the Marcus coaching staff has decided to do for this game. Instead of the names on the back of the jerseys that you become accustomed to for the Marauders, they have Coach Irwin's slogan that he's used ever since he took over. Yes, we can. Yes, we will. That's what on the back. Yes, we can beat this team, and that is the mentality he's been trying to instill in them all week.
Correction, that was Nate Hopkins on the carry. He got immediately 10 yards, and now here on the second snap, getting stepped on by his offensive lineman is Dylan McKee trying to pull out. He goes to a knee, and it'll be a loss of 2, maybe 3 on the play. Second down and 13 coming up for Marcus.
And the last 2 plays, that's been the story of Marcus's whole season. You come out, great blocking, pick up 11 yards on a little sweep cutback on an ISO play, and then the next play, you tripping over feet and getting stepped on, and unfortunately, it ends up being a loss. If Marcus can play their best football of the season, they absolutely can hang and possibly win this game against Trinity.
Hopkins is the eye back. McKee under center now, turns around, pitches back to Hopkins. He's got a head of steam. 35, spins to the 38-yard line before he's taken down. Give him 8 yards on that one. It'll be second down, or make that third down and 5 from their own 38-yard line.
That possibly was a touchdown-saving tackle, definitely a first-down-saving tackle by George Moiakiola, the Rover, the 6'1", 207-pound senior. Just got the ankles of Hopkins. He was like a locomotive trucking downfield right there, and Moiakiola doesn't shy away from any contact, was able to coerce him to the ground.
That powerful offensive line of the Marcus Marauders on display right there. From the 38-yard line, third down and 5, pitch back Hopkins going to left. He's going to be close to a first down, but he is upended and lands at the 41.5. That's going to be a yard and a half shy. Fourth down coming up, and we'll have to see what Coach Irwin wants to do here.
Moiakiola again on the stop, as he right now is basically following the pitch man, and I guess that's his responsibility in this man scheme that the Trojans typically play. And I love the fact of what Coach Irwin's doing right here. Let's roll the dice. We only need a yard and a half. We've been picking up big yardage on these quick sweeps. Let's do it again.
Fourth down and 1.5. Under center, now jumping, and it could, there's movement on the offensive line and defensive line, but I believe it's going to be defensive encroachment that caused the offensive line to jump. I don't know what you saw, Thomas.
That was a great hard count at the line of scrimmage, getting the defender to come into the neutral zone, and we'll hear from Mike Atkinson here in a sec. Well, I don't know if we'll hear from him. We'll see from him, and it is going to be offside against the defense, but a good hard count. I still contend, though, that they were absolutely going to run that play no matter what. That wasn't simply to try to draw him off sides, but the heads-up play by the junior quarterback, McKee, he saw the movement. He got the free first down right there, and he'll move the chains.
Out of the game goes Dylan McKee on first down here, and incoming with the running the Wildcat or the Marauder, if you want to call it that, will be Cade Irwin, as he will go under center. I formation behind Irwin. Turns around, fakes, runs the option, cuts it back inside, has the 50-yard line all the way down to the 45, and now still driving. Look at those legs pump, and he's all the way down to the 41-yard line. A gutsy run by Cade Irwin, and he's got a first down for the Marcus Marauders.
What a job. Credit Nate Hopkins after a great ball fake by Irwin to pick up the first down and kind of juke back in and so forth. Hopkins bear hugs him and almost picks him up and moves him an additional 5 yards. What a job. You can see the heart and desire of the Marauders right here. No Trinity can match it. I don't think they're expecting to get punched in the mouth quite like this, though.
Hopkins is the deep back. It's a handoff to the up back. Irwin still in at quarterback. This time he hands it off. It's going to go for 3 yards on the quick hitter to Alex Albright. Second down and 7 coming up for Marcus. They're at the Trinity 39-yard line. This is a very important possession here. Already down 7-0, and we're 7.5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
A lot of moving pieces from personnel to the different package, but what they're doing right now is Marcus is running Trinity's offense. They're sprinting out of the huddle, lining up, and snapping the ball before the defense can get set.
McKee goes back to pass, and he comes out right. He's going to be tripped up, and a sack on the play for the Trinity Trojans, and he was going to have some open space to roll out, Thomas, if he had not gotten tripped up there.
Ollier, once again, this is a senior that has been a multiple-year starter for Coach Lineweaver, and he fully lays out. He swipes at the ankles of McKee, and if he doesn't get him, Dylan McKee's got the whole half of the field to roll out and try to throw a pass. What a great job, though, by Ollier to get the quarterback down for a loss.
Third down and 17. Huge loss on that play. Again, 7-0. Trinity leads Marcus. Just inside 7 minutes to go in the opening quarter. It's a handoff to Hopkins. He's going to be hit behind the line and slung to the ground at midfield. A loss of 3 on that play, and the punting unit will come out for the Marcus Marauders.
One of my keys to the game for the Marauders offensively is staying on schedule. You get into second and long, you get into third and long, specifically against this defense, and it's really extremely difficult for even the most fleet-of-foot offenses. But if they get behind the chains, it's going to be a really long night for the Marauders offensively.
Blake Cawson stands at his own 36-yard line to punt the ball away to Trinity. And now a flag goes down. The ball is at midfield. It's going to go 5 yards one way or another. The deep back is Kenneth Gonzalez for Trinity, and this one's going to go against Marcus. So Gonzalez will have more room to try to bring this one back. Now standing at his own 31-yard line is Blake Cawson, the senior punter, who's had a really good season for the Marcus Marauders. Rugby-style kicker, and he puts this one up. It's going to take a nice roll, actually, for Trinity backwards, and going to be corralled pretty quickly by Caden Smith down at the 36-yard line. Trinity will start there at their own 37 after the official puts the ball down.
18 yards on the punt is not exactly what Coach Irwin wanted to see, but you said Causen's been so good all year in flipping field position, helped keep them in the ball game against Hebron last Thursday with his ability to really pin the Hawks back deep. Really could have used a huge effort there, but now Trinity's going to be coming downhill, starting a pretty decent starting field position.
Here goes Trinity, first down and 10. The quick snap, handoff, and breaking past the linebackers is the running back on the play. That's Isaac Ellsworth, and he's going to get 6 yards right there on first down. They're out to their own 43-yard line, 2nd and 4.
It's amazing. A couple different Marauder defenders had a chance to bring him down. Schaffler finally wraps him up and forces him out of bounds, but you miss a tackle on one of these Trinity backs, and Ellsworth just in line with all the great Trinity backs. He's under 5.5 feet tall, and it's really difficult to find them behind those big offensive linemen. And you miss a tackle, they may take it to the house.
And here's a counter play, and up the middle of the field, breaking free, 45-40. 35-30, finally pulled down from behind. Trinity with a huge play. It's Homer Babcock, the fullback, his first carry of the game, and it's a huge one all the way down to the Marcus 26.
So beautifully designed in its simplicity. All the action goes left, and at the last minute, you've got a guard that pulls out to seal the edge. You hand off to the fullback, countering back to the right side. Defense sees that. They're trying to rally the ball. They're trying to make a play. They all go that way, and it just opens up a cavernous hole over on the right side for Babcock. And, you know, if he was maybe like J-Ron Wilson with that kind of speed, he probably would have scored. Good job, though, by the Marcus not to give up on the play and bring him down before the end zone.
The deep back here is Ellsworth. He takes the pitch, goes right up the middle, 4 yards before he's even hit. He spins forward for a 5-yard gain. They're down just short of the 20-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
Kate Irwin can absolutely do everything on a football field. I'm convinced of it, and I think I've seen him do it now in his 3 years as a varsity player. But right there, it's a tough position. You've got a big back running downhill at you. He's still got good form, twisted the shoulders. That helps bring those big, powerful backs down because once that momentum starts going, you can get him on the ground easier.
Ellsworth with 10 yards on the game so far. He assumes the I-back role here. Motion man coming across to the left, and here's the handoff. Actually, the deep back here is J-Ron Wilson, and he gets tripped up right at the line of scrimmage, Thomas. Nice penetration by that defensive line.
Christian Schaffler came on an inside blitz and kind of submarined his way under that monstrous offensive line that averages close to 290 pounds per man across the front. He was able to get the ankles of the ball carrier and bring Wilson down for a loss.
3rd down and 6 officially inside 4 minutes to go, first quarter. For the first time, Christian Hammock goes into the shotgun. He's got 2 receivers out to the right side, Gonzalez and Gibson. And now also a wingback over on the right side as well. He's going to throw it out to the edge to Gibson. Gibson has it, but he's going to be knocked down fairly quickly. He gets down to the 18-yard line. That's going to be short. It'll be 4th down and 2.
Credit Schaffler coming down the line of scrimmage and Scotty Alms in position on the edge. They were able to avoid the Trinity blockers and get to the man who caught the pass, DeAndre Gibson, to bring him down short of the first down. But this is a situation that Coach Lineweaver is like, hey, we can get a yard, we can get 2 yards with our power run game. A lot of times they'll go for it in this instance.
And it looks like they are right here. They send Edric Gonzalez out to the far left side, single setback, double tight end. Hammock under center. He's going to turn around, fake it, and he's going to roll out and have throw into the end zone to a wide open receiver in there for the touchdown. Almost drew him too far over. It's Will Taylor, the tight end, makes the catch, his first touchdown of the season, and Trinity's up 13-0.
When you're undermanned, when you're banged up, when you're trying to go out there and make the impossible happen, sometimes you do a little too much. And right now, Trinity, their big plays are coming off of misdirection to take the Marauder defense out of the play. If it had been a handoff to the left side, it would have absolutely been slammed down for a loss and a turnover on down. But Hammock with the play fake, rolls out, finds the big man, the big tight end, Will Taylor, all alone in the end zone. Put a little loft on it to make sure that the big man could get it. Taylor did a great job of getting both feet in bounds. Only need one in high school, but he made an NFL touchdown catch right there. And it's just a thing of beauty on a fourth down gamble to go with something like that. It talks about the amount of confidence that Coach Lineweaver has, not only in his signal caller Hammock, but also the offensive line to make sure the play is not going to get blown up.
And Marcus just committed everything to sell out to stop the run, which is what you expect to happen. So a total misdirection, like you said, and wide open. And good point there, NFL catch in the end zone, because that ball floated on him a little bit, and he was going to have to get right to the sideline. 2 minutes, 49 seconds to go in the first quarter. Trinity up 14-0. Pete Nielsen, what you got for us?
Coach Lineweaver believes in his quarterback now. In the beginning of the season, that would have been a running play, Thomas. A lot of confidence in the quarterback, a nice job with the play action, even a better throw.
Kind of tough, too, because the wind is at his back. It kind of gusted out of nowhere and maybe lofted it a little bit. But I talk about Taylor. If you're a tight end in this offense, you're going to get scouted because typically you're 6'3", 6'4", and close to 235 pounds. And college players, recruiters and so forth, they like to see that kind of body build, especially with that athleticism. And it's just going to pay off for you. And so Taylor does the yeoman's work of trying to seal the edge in a lot of those toss sweeps and so forth, and he got the glory on that last one.
Jack Cushing gets the return, comes to the near side of the field, the left, and he is upended at the 20-yard line by Sosaya Nalo. And that's where Marcus will start first down and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Marcus in white jerseys with red numbers and their silver helmets with the big M on one side of the helmet. Trinity in all black with white numbers outlined in red. Quickly coming to the line, the Marcus Marauders. From the left hash mark, under centers McKee, hands it off to Mason Ferguson, the fullback. And the little quick hitter there gets 3 yards on the forward progress. It'll be second down and 7.
Jack Cushing on that return. That's about as tough as a young man as you're going to see, whether he's on the mound of the baseball diamond or whether he's out here on a football field. And it's that kind of mentality that just oozes out of Brian Irwin's program year after year after year. And even though they're down 14-0 right now, I know Marcus on the sideline is talking about, hey, we fixed a couple of little things. We're right back in this one.
Double tight end set, pitch back to Mark Demery. He hurdles the defensive line, then twists forward before finally being taken down by George Moeakiola. And he is going to have, Mark Demery is going to have about 5 yards there. It'll bring up third down and 2 for the Marcus Marauders from their own 28.
Great patient running, saw the hole, exploded through, and then was stopped after about 2 yards. Great spin move then on the tail end of that to pick up another 2 or 3 and set you up in a good third and short situation.
Tanner Roots comes out to the far left of the formation as the sole wide receiver. Under centers Cade Irwin. He is going to be pushed back and stopped. Coming off of a block, his numerical counterpart, Kyle Unga, makes the play, and it's going to be a big loss.
Unga was a special team standout for the Trojans in the first half of the season, and then he slowly started rotating in more and more on defense, and now they just can't get the kid off the field. What a great job of pursuing the quarterback on the option game. It's all about assignment football at that point. That was his assignment. He got to the quarterback, Irwin, was able to bring him down.
4th down and 5 brings the punting unit out. Blake Cawson stands at his own 11. Kenneth Gonzalez at his own 45 for the Trinity return team. Here's the kick. This one holds up in the wind. It's going to take a hop. It takes another Trinity roll backwards inside Marcus territory to the 48-yard line. Trinity set up in beautiful field position again, already up 14-0.
And you may ask yourself, it's like, well, the Trojans average over 42 points a game, and I guess 482 yards is a lot of yards. I don't know in this day of high school football if that really is that much, but part of the reason why they don't churn up more yards is because of situations like this. Defense comes out, forces maybe a tackle for a loss, maybe a 3-and-out, whatever it is. Your offense starts with good starting field position. They rarely have long fields to go.
Hammock back to pass after a play action, throws it out to the right side. It's caught by Edric Gonzalez. He's all the way down with a first down to the 36-yard line. Give him 12 on that one. The passing game showing off for Coach Lineweaver.
And that's something that people sometimes will dare Trinity to do. They're going to stack the box, as Marcus is right here, and say, look, you're not going to be able to run on us if we have 8 or 9 guys in the box. If you're going to beat us, you're going to have to beat us with the pass. And right now, Hammock is on the money. He's been very accurate here in the first quarter.
DeAndre Gibson, the sole wide receiver, goes out far left. Here's the handoff from the I formation. Twisting through the linebacker core is the running back, and he's going to be finally taken down after a gain of 7, and that is Jaron Wilson.
If you're a sophomore and you're playing running back for Coach Steve Lineweaver, you've got something special. This kid is as quick as lightning. He has great vision. I mean, there was a cutback he made on that last run that I didn't even see until he was already a step through the hole. I was so impressed with every time he touches the ball throughout the entire season.
It's the end of the first quarter. We'll switch ends of the field. Trinity with the ball and the lead, 14-0 over the Marcus Marauders. You're listening to the Texas High School Football Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores. 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting. It's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
If you're a basketball parent or coach, you need StatGeek, the simplest way to keep stats ever created. Our easy-to-use iPad app turns anyone into a professional statistician, and all they have to do is simply follow the ball. Produce full and accurate box scores and play-by-play reports. Send accurate stats out to your fans, media, or recruiters. It's sports statistic collection redefined. StatGeek is available right now in the iPad App Store for just $4.99, and there are team fundraising opportunities available as well. On the web at statgeek.com. StatGeek, keep your eye on the ball.
Back here at Pennington Field, Kerry Lowry with Thomas Lee, Pete Nielsen, and Doug Steele on stats to bring you the second quarter of the first high school football game in the state of Texas for this season. Trinity up 14-0 with the ball at the Marcus 30-yard line. Hand off to the deep back, sprinting up the middle and into the end zone. Look at that speed that you talked about it a minute ago. Jaron Wilson, the sophomore, is the future of the Trinity Trojan rushing offense.
Well, Kerry, if he's the future is now, because that kid hit the hole, and I think I saw a little, like Hermes, the wing sandals or whatever. Some jets came out, some exhaust. I don't know. That kid just, like the Roadrunner, just took off, and nobody even laid a finger on him. Great blocking at the point of the attack by the offensive line, but you just can't coach speed. When you've got it, Coach Lineweaver knows it, and he's putting the ball in his hands.
Cullen Shipp with the extra point. And that gives the Trinity Trojans the 21-0 lead. They'll kick off to Marcus when we come back. You're listening to the Texas High School Football Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShopboxDFW.com today. ShopboxDFW.com.
And here's the kick by Shipp. It is into the wind, and it's going to hold up, taken at the 16-yard line by Mark Demery, and he brings it back out outside the 20 to the 22. That's where Marcus will start, first down and 10. I was wondering how Ship would do kicking into the wind. With the wind, he was getting it down to about the 5-yard line, and sure enough, that one held up for Marcus. 11:46 to go in the first half. Trinity 21, Marcus 0. First down and 10 for the Marcus Marauders as they come out with a double tight end set. Under center is McKee. He's going to quick pitch back to Mark Demery. Demery's going to get past the line of scrimmage. A helmet comes flying off out of the crowd. We'll have to see who that – it is Mark Demery's helmet, and he will have to take a play off, so expect Nate Hopkins to come in. But that's a 5-yard gain on first down, a nice one for the Marcus offense.
Talk so much about staying on schedule and making sure that you're putting yourself in a good position to have success. 5 yards on first down absolutely does that. Coach Irwin's got to have a smile on the sideline.
I formation. Behind McKee, turns around, pitches to Nate Hopkins. Big push by the offensive line of Marcus, and another 5-yard gain there. They'll take that all day long, Thomas.
You told Coach Irwin that he came out and every time he snapped the ball, he could get 4 yards running a sweep. He would not call anything else the entire game. Even though they're down 21-0, it would allow them an opportunity to continuously keep his defense fresh on the sideline and give his offense a chance to maybe break one. Because whenever you keep effectively blocking like they are now, every once in a while somebody's going to get 2, and then all of a sudden you spring it for a big run.
McKee goes under center. Mason Ferguson, the fullback. Here's the pitch back to Hopkins. Again, good blocking. He breaks free into the secondary, and he's down with a 10-yard gain. They're out to their own 43-yard line, and a very good rush defense that Trinity has is being gashed just a little bit on this drive.
Yeah, TJ Cowtie just got thrown in literally by one of the defensive coaches on the Trinity side with specific instructions on something that is working really well for Marcus right now. Maybe it's something on the edge of these sweeps.
Marcus with 47 yards of rushing, and now Hopkins has it. He's going to have another huge gain on first down. Give him 9 yards there. He's up to 44 on the game, and they're inside Trinity territory at the 49-yard line. Pete, what do you have?
Thomas, guys, it's clear what happened here. The offensive line has widened their splits, and Trinity has not adjusted to that yet. Thus, they're getting outside.
A little bit of coaching chess match here for Coach Irwin and Coach Lineweaver.
If I was a high school football coach and I didn't have to throw the ball a single time in the game, I would consider that a success. And right now, there's no reason to put the ball up in the air unless you get an over-pursuing defense and you can take advantage.
Major confusion, and McKee throws it downfield to Tanner Roots, and there is all kinds of contact. Triple coverage down the middle of the field as both safeties collapsed on Tanner Roots, and there was confusion by the Trinity defense getting on the field, but it was a linebacker not involved in the play, and therefore it remains third and 1, but they took a shot downfield there.
Now, let me say what I was saying. You got 9 yards on first down. You're in second and short. You've been running the ball well. That was the perfect time to take a shot deep. I like the call there.
Here's the pitch back to Demery. He's going to have a first down on penetration. Then he gets popped backwards about 2 yards and then popped forwards. The little pinball, Mark Demery, but he does move the chains for the Marcus Marauders.
I feel sore after just watching that hit because he got hit so hard going backwards, and then he got hit from the backside going forwards. At least they got the first down. Demery's a tough kid. I know he can handle it, but my old bones sure can't.
10 minutes to go in the first half. First down and 10 for the Marcus Marauders at the Trinity 47-yard line. Cade Irwin comes out of it in the Wildcat, picks up a block from Hopkins, but then he tries to spin out of the next tackle, and instead he is upended by the defender on the play for Trinity, and it's going to be a gain of maybe of a half of a yard. From the 46-yard line, they gave him 1 yard there, 9.5 to go. Trinity is up 21-0. Marcus needing to close this gap a little bit here in the second quarter. Tanner Roots and Blake Bowling are the two receivers that go out to the right side of the formation. Also on the left side is Caden Smith. Dylan McKee goes back. Play action. Looking downfield and triple coverage down there for Caden Smith. It seems like whatever they dial up on a coverage, the defense of Trinity picks the right guy.
The whole idea behind those is the play action fake is going to suck the linebackers up, and then all of a sudden you've got an opportunity for single coverage with your big 6'5" tight end Caden Smith, who's been a 2-year starter as a sophomore. Problem with that is you've got smart linebackers like Trinity has. When they see Smith not trying to block them, they just run with him, and that's how it turned into a triple coverage pass.
4 wide receivers here. McKee in the shotgun, back to pass, 5-man rush. He's flushed out, throws it over the middle. It's going to be over the head of Tanner Roots, the intended receiver, right down the hash marks. Nice job by McKee to not get sacked and preserve a 4th down and 9. And the field tilted a little bit towards Trinity right now. Here comes the punting unit.
Tobias Nate and Turner Woolley were collapsing the pocket around McKee, and he stepped up exactly like you're supposed to do. I think when he stepped up, though, it caused him to put a little too much mustard on the football over, and it sailed a little bit high. But just a great job of trying to execute down there by McKee. I wouldn't say this thing definitely is going to be punted away. This could be a great opportunity for a fake here from Coach Irwin.
Blake Cawson, who can run the ball, drops it actually. Now he's going to run it, like you said. Now he's going to punt it. It's going to be a good roll for Marcus. It's down inside the 5-yard line, down to the 2. Make that the 1. If there is any wind on the golf ball, it'll roll a little bit. It does, all the way down to the 1-yard line, and that's where Trinity will start 1st down and 10. Good special teams play by the Marcus Marauders right there.
And that right there was absolutely a chance for cause. And, hey, if you think you can turn the corner and get the 1st down, do it. If you don't, let's pin them deep. Let's try to get some points back with the defense out on the field. And that's exactly what happened. You can't execute better in special teams than that, than downing a punt at the 1. And an opportunity here for Marcus to maybe get a couple points with a safety.
Trinity, 126 total yards already here in the game. They had 94 yards in the first quarter, and then they scored on that big run just after to drive it up to 126. And now looks like Hammock kind of just ducks his head and pounds forward to get some room there. He's out to the 3-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
He just hitched his saddle up to that big old offensive line and said, okay, boys, let's just roll forward, and got a little bit of breathing room, at least a couple of yards. A lot of times when you only have that 3 feet between where the ball starts and the goal line, you get kind of nervous and you kind of worry about, well, what if my offensive lineman steps on my foot and I fall down? That's 2 points the other way. So that was just designed just to get some breathing room.
And another one designed to get some breathing room. Gets a lot of it as it's a handoff to the fullback, Babcock, and he pounds forward all the way out to the 10-yard line. And now a very manageable 3rd down and 1 for the Trinity Trojans.
Reminds me of last year's Trinity team. They had probably the greatest name for a fullback I've ever heard in my life, Bear Miller. This kid played like a bear. He would bust through and carry 4 guys with him for 4 and 5 yards. Babcock, not near the height or the weight, but he is so technically sound in blocking on those sweeps and also getting the opportunity to run on the inside traps.
And here's another handoff to the fullback, and he breaks free. Babcock in the open at the 30, and only an ankle tackle stops him from scoring a 70-yard touch or an 80-yard touchdown. Finally tripped up, but he's all the way out. Trinity is out to their own 36-yard line, 1st down.
It's amazing. When you block that well, the game really gets simple. Travis Perry goes low and takes out the legs. Otherwise, that is going to go the distance for a Trojan touchdown.
Homer Babcock up to 64 yards already on 3 carries. He's averaging 21 yards every time he touches it. The deep back here is Ellsworth. Hammock under center, double tight end set, fakes the pitch back to Ellsworth and instead gives it to the up back, Tyler Nati. And he is going to get out to the 40-yard line, give him 4 yards on 1st down.
Again, as the year started, you started to see some different guys. Kenneth Gonzalez was banged up, so J-Ron Wilson, the sophomore, was brought up. Tyler Nate is another one of those guys. The young sophomore has come in at 6 foot 219. Just wait till he grows into his body. This guy could be the next Bear here for the Trojans.
He's a big one. From their own 40-yard line, 39 yards so far on this drive, and there is the handoff to Nate again, and he is going to get 3 yards here, bottled up by the defensive line, including McMillan. And that'll be 3rd down and 3.
And I love Cade Irwin on that play, too, because he got it on the offensive, basically, side of where he's running. He kind of came in from behind. And he didn't care about getting the young man down. He went straight after that football. Great ball security by Nate there because Irwin was doing everything he could to try to dislodge it.
6 minutes to go in the second quarter. 21-0 Trinity. 3rd down and 3. They are already 1 for 2 on 3rd downs in this game so far, and now a counter. Handoff Ellsworth. He's got the corner. 50, 45, 40. Tries to sprint up the sideline. He tight ropes it. Finally knocked out of bounds by Cade Irwin, but not until he's all the way down to the Marcus 23-yard line.
If we're in Canada, that's a touchdown because he did not get pushed out by much at all. He went down the sideline, just absolutely superb blocking at the point of attack. And then, of course, the speed. Ellsworth has it. J-Ron Wilson has it. It's something that Trinity has never have a shortage of real true speed threats running the football.
34 yards there for Ellsworth. He finally breaks free after having only 10 before that. He stays in as the deep back, but the handoff goes, fake to Nate. Now throw into the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown for Gonzalez and Trinity. Hammock to Gonzalez on a post pattern, and they're up 27-0.
When you run the ball as effectively as Trinity has run the ball tonight, I mean, it's been staggering how they've already piled up 169 yards on the ground. So you go play action, you get single coverage on the outside. Great job of shielding off the defender, Scotty Alms, by Gonzalez. He plucks out the ball at its highest point. It's an easy pitch and catch touchdown for the Trinity Trojans.
And Gonzalez gets the honor of going ahead and holding for the extra point after he catches the touchdown. That's what happens in high school football. 5 minutes, 39 seconds to go in the first half. Trinity 28, Marcus 0 after the extra point. You're listening to the Texas High School Football Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio.
Just celebrating 40 years of caring for our community, but also our ongoing commitment to provide the highest level of health care in Northeast Tarrant County. In fact, we're now the only Level 3 trauma center in the region, not to mention our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation, Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, and designation as a certified primary stroke center. After 40 years, we're better than ever. And here's to 40 more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
For some high school seniors, achieving excellence goes beyond top grades, and AXA wants your help in recognizing them. Up to 12 DFW area students will receive a $2,000 AXA Achievement Community Scholarship, and one senior in Texas will receive a scholarship worth up to $25,000. Do you know a local high school senior who has excelled at a job, sport, community project, or other extracurricular activity? They may be eligible for an AXA Achievement Community Scholarship. For more details, contact Thomas Lee at AXA Advisors, 972-455-9114.
And here's the kick from Ship, again into the wind, and this one's going to hold up almost near the sideline. Alex Albright takes it at the 14-yard line, brings it out. He's out across the 20 to the 26-yard line before he's ankle tackled there, and that's where Marcus will set up 1st down and 10. 5.5 minutes to go in the opening half. And Nate Hawkins goes back to be the running back here in the I formation. Big Caden Smith goes into motion across to the right. Fake handoff. McKee gets spilled as they penetrate right past him. It looked like it was going to be a play action pass. Roll out to the left, Thomas, and he never got free.
Somebody who saw it even better than we did is Pete Nielsen down the field. Take it away, Peter.
Guys, the whole offensive drive, the defensive staff over here coaching up this defensive line and linebackers to adjust for the change that Marcus made. Obviously, a good adjustment.
I'd say a 6-yard loss is a pretty good adjustment, absolutely.
Absolutely. 2nd down and 16. McKee basically running the same play. Rolls out. He's going to be complete out on the left side of the formation to the receiver at the 30-yard line, and that is Tanner Roots with his first catch of the game. Give him the 31-yard line. It'll make it a more manageable 3rd down here.
But even when you have those opportunities, and it's a great pickup on the play of 11 yards, but still Moyakiola was right there step for step with him. It took a very accurate throw by McKee to even pick up those 11 and descend into a 3rd and manageable.
McKee has only his 2nd start of the season for the Marcus Marauders. He started last week against the Hebron Hawks in his debut. Meanwhile, from the shotgun, it's Cade Irwin at quarterback. 2nd down and 5. Make that 3rd down and 5, despite what the scoreboard says. Motion coming across is Tanner Roots. Now calling for it. This Kate Irwin claps, and coming across the line of the Trinity Trojans, we'll have to see if they're drawing off. Of course, Coach Irwin is about 2 yards onto the field making the call for them. And it looks like Coach Irwin is right. It's going to be 5 yards marked off against Trinity, and the clap hard count there by Kate Irwin pulls him across.
Coach Irwin's a Longhorn himself, also was a graduate assistant there. And right there, Cade, his son, kind of looked like Mac Brown on the sideline, clapping, going, good job, guys, good job, because he got him off sides and got a free first down.
He'll stay in the game, tries the same routine. This time it doesn't work. Three down linemen, 4 linebackers, about 6 in the box here for the Trinity Trojans with 4 wide receivers. Roots comes into motion. He stops now in the slot. There's the handoff from Cade Irwin, and he hands it to his only running back, which was Nate Hopkins, and he's going to get 2 yards on first down. He's now to the 38-yard line. Second Nate coming up.
Everybody wants to talk about the spread offense in high school. You think about chunking the ball around, quarterbacks putting up 4,000 and 5,000 yards passing. No, the best use of the spread in high school, as far as I'm concerned, is to spread out a defense as dominant as Trinity's and then try to attack it with the run, whether you hand it to the jet sweep coming from one of the receivers or you go zone read. That's exactly what Marcus did on that play. If they keep doing that, I think they'll start to get some success.
Ask the Allen Eagles. That's what they do. They run a lot more often than they throw. Here's the handoff from Cade Irwin to Mark Demery. He breaks free past the linebackers, past the 45-yard line, out to the 47. First down, Marcus.
Nice 9-yard gain up the gut. And again, you've got the defense spread out thinly. You've got one pulling guard that comes through and kicks out the block, and that opens up the hole for Demery to run behind for the first down.
From the 47-yard line, number 47 is in the shotgun, Cade Irwin. He hands off to Demery again. Demery spins out of an opening tackle, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, and maybe gets a half of a yard. Second down, 9 coming up. They're at their own 48-yard line, inside 3 minutes to go in the first half.
If the inside run is going to work, you have to block at the point of attack. A lot of times that's easier said than done when you're going up against a 6-foot, 283-pound, multiple-year starter like Hofoka Olie. The kid is a dominant force at nose guard.
P.J. Halu comes in to replace on the defensive line. And now here's a pass down the middle of the field. It's caught by Alex Albright. A first down for the Marcus Marauders, the most successful pass play so far. Albright with the catch, his 9th catch of the season. He's down to the 33-yard line of Trinity.
That was the best-looking pass play of 10 quarters of Marcus football I have seen this year. It was on the money, on the stride on the deep post, and it picks up a first down.
4 wide receivers here. Caden Smith is one of them. And here's the throw to Caden Smith over the middle. He skies. He catches it right in the middle of the field under double coverage. What a play there. What a pass. What a catch. 6'5" frame. Pulls it down 17-yard line.
You got to feed the monster sometimes, and that's all that was. He threw it up for grabs over the middle. Smith climbs the ladder, pulls it down, lands right on his back when he came out of the sky. But he's a tough kid. He's staying in there right now, knowing how much his team needs him.
Tanner Roots is far out to the left side. Caden Smith is the tight end on the left side. Here's the pitch back, student body to the left, and it's Mark Demery who uses his hurdle move. He's patented to get over a defensive lineman, and it's going to get 3 yards on first down. They're inside the 15 down to the 14.
This defensive front is too big and physical to lock up one-on-one and block. That's why a lot of times you'll see Demery hurdling on the outside because they'll go with a low block, a little chop block, a legal one albeit, to try to get some space because it's just too difficult.
Ball in the left hash mark, pitch back Demery. He's going to have a first down and more. Inside the 5 now, all the way down to the 4-yard line. Demery follows his blockers and has great field vision, and he gets down to a first down and goal now, and Trinity up 28-0 over Marcus. Marcus has to punch this in.
Final 90 seconds of the half. You take some momentum in. You have some newfound respect for yourselves on offense if you punch this in right here.
And as the play is snapped, it is blown dead. And we'll see, it is a timeout called by the Trinity Trojans. 1 minute, 21 seconds to go in the first half. Trinity 28, Marcus 0, but Marcus knocking on the door. First and goal at the 4-yard line. You're listening to the Texas High School Football Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio.
Are you studying on your own for the SAT or ACT? Follow My Test Answers on Twitter and Facebook for free solutions to official test questions. Got a question of your own? Send a message to My Test Answers and get a response for free. Got more than one question? Don't worry, we'll answer those too. With over a decade of experience in helping students prepare for standardized tests, the experts at My Test Answers will get you the answers you want whenever you need it. My Test Answers, problems solved.
The Trinity band lines up behind the end zone, awaiting their chance at halftime. Speaking of bands, the Marcus Band not here tonight. They are on their way to Indianapolis to participate in the national championships for marching bands. And the credit from Champion Sports Radio to the Marcus Band. The bands are just as important as the football teams, and they are having their Super Bowl as they go to Indianapolis. Jack Cushing, the wide receiver, comes out to the far right side of the field. Mark Demery is the deep back. Under center is McKee. Turns around, pitches back to Demery. He's going to be hit immediately before he can even get to the line of scrimmage, and he's dropped for a 3-yard loss.
Inokie Nalo is one of the best high school linebackers I've seen this year or last year, and that's the first time we've called his name right there, as he just took it upon himself to bust through the offensive line and get to the ball carrier about the time that the running back secured the ball from the pitch. Really impressive play. Inside of a minute now, here comes a run blitz from the edge, and now taken down just as he tries to get to the line of scrimmage is Mark Demery. He's going to be spun around and stopped by a shirt tackle back at the 9. What an unbelievable job by a young man, a senior who has, I don't know if he's come back from injury or if he just worked himself into position and getting onto the field. But Sunia Makahuniniu did an unbelievable job of fighting through a double team and just grabbing the very bottom of the jersey and had a strong enough hand to pull the young man to the ground. Unbelievable job there. And again, the Trojans just rotate in these great defensive linemen. A lot of teams are happy to have maybe a good, solid starting defensive line. I know. Okay, then the Cowboys talk about wanting to rotate and have 2 deep in the position. I think the Trojans are 3 deep on the defensive line with guys that would start for just about every other team in their district in 6-5A. 6'1", 301-pound senior. And he was a backup who wasn't even on the 2 deep as of 3 weeks ago. It's tough to make the team here at Trinity. From the 10-yard line, here's the pitch. It's going to be a reverse, and now a pass. Cushing is looking into the end zone. There's nobody there. He does throw it. It's going to be incomplete and out of bounds, but a flag is down at the play, or at the point of the would-be catch right at the goal line. And a hush goes over the crowd as they anticipate it will be against Trinity. And it is. What an unbelievable job right there. I love, first of all, let's start with the call. You're going to go with a sweep to the left, then reverse it back to Cushing. Now, Cushing has the opportunity to throw it or run. And, of course, being a pitcher in the quote-unquote football offseason, he wants to throw a fastball into the end zone. But there was nowhere to go. He saw contact, though, and he put the ball right in the vicinity to force the officials to make the play. What a heads-up play by Cushing to make it happen. Still with 2 timeouts, and they have 2 yards to go. First down and goal at the 2. 33 seconds to go. Pitch back Hopkins. He plunges toward the end zone, into the end zone. Touchdown, Marcus Marauders. Nate looking like his older brother on that one, following behind some great blocking, was hit in the shoulder area and then spinning like a whirling dervish just around 2 complete rotations until he finally found his way to get across the goal line and into the end zone for the first points of the night for the Marauders. 28-6 our score, pending the extra point by John Coppins. His first appearance on the field in the game so far. Coppins takes the snap. Here's the kick. It is up, and it is good. And the Marcus Marauders have closed the gap a little bit and have a little momentum on their side here at Pennington Field. It's Trinity 28, Marcus 7. You're listening to the Texas High School Football Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're committed to being the #1 hospital in Northeast Tarrant County. And we're doing it in a number of ways, like 550 physicians, 43 unique specialties, 300 beds, and 24-hour emergency service, to name a few. And here's one more number, 40. as in we're proud to be your hometown team for healthcare 40 years and counting. Who's number one in Northeast Tarrant County? Texas Health HEB. Visit texashealth.org/HEB.
When you want to build something, how do you start? With a plan, right? That's what AXA Advisors is about. We work with individuals and small businesses to help build financial strategies that get them closer to the things they want to achieve in life. Start right by starting your financial strategy with AXA Advisors. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC.
Back at Pennington Field on a beautiful night here in the Mid-Cities. 30 seconds to go in the first half. Trinity will get the ball back as John Coppins has it teed up. His customary placement on the left hash mark at the 40-yard line.
Looks like they're playing indoor football right now because they're all on just about 2/3 of the field.
This is what happens, and now he'll kick it over to that side and pin him into the corner. Gonzalez has it at the 11-yard line, now brings it off all the way to the other side of the field, and he has some room and some speed. 25, 30, makes a cut, he has blockers at the 40, the 50, he's got another convoy downfield. At the 30-yard line, flag behind the play, the 15, the 10 into the end zone, touchdown, Trinity Trojans. 3 flags behind the play, however, and we'll see what those are about and if it's going to bring it back, but a great return and a great choice on place to run for Gonzalez.
This officiating crew we have has years and years and years of experience. I mean, probably somewhere up close to 100, all 5 men combined. The referee has 40 years himself, but I think they totally blew that call because Homer Babcock laid into one of the Marauders that was trying to chase the play, and I thought it was a perfectly legal hit. 3 flags come flying out. So either I don't know the rules very well. They say it's a chop block against the return team. He was not engaged with anybody. It was absolutely in front of him. He didn't try to cut him from behind, and he went after the midsection. Then the player, the Marcus player, tried to leap over him, and it made the appearance that he was trying to cut down his knees. But 3 officials bought it hook, line, and sinker, and the Marauders are not complaining whatsoever because otherwise there'd be another touchdown on the board for the Trojans.
Keep in mind the Trojans received the second half kickoff as well. That would have been devastating right there. Instead, it's still a 21-point game and a swing, not only a 6-point swing on the call, but how about a 70-yard swing as they're all the way back to their own 30-yard line now with 14 seconds to go. Now, you've seen the Trinity Trojans play all season long. Will they go ahead and kneel this out?
More than likely. 21-point lead, you get the ball to start the second half. It's either going to be a knee or what I call a Trinity knee, which is a fullback trap.
Counter hesitation. Ellington has it. He goes around to the left side, shakes and shimmies his way out of bounds, and that stops the clock with 7 seconds to go. He gets 5 yards on that one.
But the difference, Kerry, and what you asked me is I saw them in non-district games and in regular season district games. This is a playoff game, and if Coach Lineweaver thinks he has an opportunity to maybe bounce one of those plays to the outside and pick up a 70-yard touchdown, he absolutely is going to take that chance.
Ellsworth up to 49 yards after that carry. They go to the victory formation, if you want to call that, right there, and kneel down with Ellsworth as the safety, and that will run out the clock. 000 down there on the clock, and Trinity leads 28-7 as we go into the half. But Marcus, with a late touchdown, closes the gap a little bit and shows that they can put some points on the board. We'll take a break and come back for the StatGeek.com halftime show in just a moment. You're listening to the Texas High School Football Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio.
This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by Champion Sports Radio. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of the audio stream, and any and all other use of the accounts of this broadcast without the direct written consent and permission of Champion Sports Radio is strictly prohibited. All rights are reserved by Champion Sports Radio and ChampionSportsRadio.com. This is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
What does a Level 3 Trauma Center mean in an emergency? Everything. And Texas Health HEB is the only Level 3 Trauma Center in Northeast Tarrant County. Along with our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation and Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, that means an exceptional level of care is close by when you need it most. With 24-hour emergency physicians and highly trained nurses with advanced trauma certifications. When every second counts, nothing matters more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
For some high school seniors, achieving excellence goes beyond top grades, and AXA wants your help in recognizing them. Up to 12 DFW area students will receive a $2,000 AXA Achievement Community Scholarship, and one senior in Texas will receive a scholarship worth up to $25,000. Do you know a local high school senior who has excelled at a job, sport, community project, or other extracurricular activity? They may be eligible for an AXA Achievement Community Scholarship. For more details, contact Thomas Lee at AXA Advisors, 972-455-9114.
Are you looking for a way to promote your business or increase exposure? Do you just need more people to know that you're there? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast over 600 games to more than 3.5 million listeners. And Champion Sports Radio wants to help you use major high school sports to reach thousands of local fans right in your community. Think about it. Die-hard fans just like you tune in each and every week, giving your business unparalleled access to the community. It's the perfect way for smaller individually owned businesses to cultivate a core clientele or expand their already loyal customer base. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334 or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcast.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com. And welcome back to Pennington Field. We continue on with the Stat Geek halftime show here on Champion Sports Radio. The Trinity Trojans with a 28-7 lead over the Marcus Marauders. Right now, the Marcus drill team is out doing a fantastic routine to canned music, as we mentioned earlier. The Marcus Marauder Band on their way to Indy to compete in the Band of America competition. So this is really sounding. It sounds very tinny and very fake. When normally the drill team's out there, you hear the wonderful sounds of the Marcus Band, but not so much here tonight. But that's what's going on the field. Let's get you caught up on action from other games around the Metroplex, shall we? We're going to start off with the only other 5A game going on across the Metroplex tonight, where Keller Central is taking on Arlington Martin. Central with a 5-5 record on the year, 4-3 in district play. Martin, the heavy favorites, 8-2 coming out of 3-5A, 6-1 in district play. But this is why they play the games. As they play in the second quarter right now, it is 7-0. The Central Chargers on top of Martin. Central only 50 yards of offense in the contest, but they help parlay a Martin interception. As Eric Walker was picked off, they turned that into a short field. And as they end the first quarter, it's 7-0 Central. thanks to a 1-yard touchdown run. Jake McClurg, 1 of 2 passing, 13 yards for Keller Central. Manitow, 2 rushes, 23 yards, and a touchdown. KT Smelby, 5 rushes, 20 yards as well. For Martin, they are paced by Nick Smith, 5 rushes, 62 yards. And Central actually has just evened the turnover count. They have just fumbled the ball away. Martin will have it deep in Central territory when they start the second quarter. So Central leading at 7-0 right now over Martin, but that's probably not going to last for too long. Other scores from around the area, of course, this one 28-0 Trinity on top of Marcus. Creekview and Centennial battling out at the Palace up in Allen. Only elevator I've ever been stuck in my life in that place. But right now, I think everybody's stuck in an elevator because there's not a lot going on. Centennial with a 7-3 lead over Creekview late first half. Kimball, no problem with Brian Adams thus far. They lead at 14-0 in the first half. Also, late second quarter, Lincoln up 14-0 over the Carter Cowboys. And a clash of 2 of the most storied DISD football programs. Other scores from around North Texas, Argyle laying it to Crum right now at C.H. Collins. 40-0 the score. That's going to be a tough halftime speech coming up here in a moment. Meanwhile, Kennendale, 2 touchdowns better than Burke Burnett, 14-0 the score there at Springtown. Madison and Bonham tied at 7 at Kimbrough Stadium. Well, that's where I'm going to be tomorrow night for Plano West and Jesuit. They're keeping my booth warm right now for me. Melissa with a 14-0 lead on Roosevelt, but Roosevelt is in the red zone. That's still in the first quarter. And in the second quarter, Samuel with a 7-6 lead on South Oak Cliff. Tomorrow night, we've got a great slate of games for you on Champion Sports Radio. We've got Coppell and Irving battling at Irving School Stadium. There's no betting in high school sports, but if there was, I don't think that the line would be favoring Irving very much in this one. Coppell looks poised for another deep playoff run. Meanwhile, LD Bell will be at the Woodshed to take on the Hebron Hawks. You can hear Sweet Pete Nielsen call that one on Champion Sports Radio. Colleyville Heritage going up against Denton Ryan, and maybe the only other game that I think that 6-5A really has a chance at winning in this bi-district round. Denton Ryan has been sensational down the stretch, but Heritage has gotten better week after week after week, and they definitely have a chance. They're getting healthy. Their star receivers come back. They've got a chance now to do something, not to mention that game is at home at Mustang Panther Stadium for Colleyville Heritage. And then on Saturday, we've got Cedar Hill and Temple. Bill Howard and the boys from Floyd Casey Stadium. It's going to be an awful lot of fun, so stay tuned here on Champion Sports Radio. We continue on with more of the Stat Geek halftime show in a moment. Trinity with a 28-7 lead over the Marcus Marauders. High school playoff football continues in a moment here on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're not just celebrating 40 years of caring for our community, but also our ongoing commitment to provide the highest level of health care in Northeast Tarrant County. In fact, we're now the only Level 3 trauma center in the region, not to mention our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation, Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, and designation as a certified primary stroke center. After 40 years, we're better than ever, and here's to 40 more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
Never do today what you can put off until tomorrow, right? Now, that's not exactly the saying, but it seems like people would rather do anything other than doing something about their finances. That's why there's AXA Advisors. We work one-on-one with you to create a financial strategy for the things you need tomorrow. Start your financial strategy today with AXA Advisors. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors, LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC.
If you're a basketball parent or coach, you need StatGeek, the simplest way to keep stats ever created. Our easy-to-use iPad app turns anyone into a professional statistician, and all they have to do is simply follow the ball. Produce full and accurate box scores and play-by-play reports. Send accurate stats out to your fans, media, or recruiters. It's sports statistic collection redefined. StatGeek is available right now in the iPad App Store for just $4.99, and there are team fundraising opportunities available as well. On the web at statgeek.com. StatGeek, keep your eye on the ball.
Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert. The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are...
He shoots, he scores. 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting. It's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
Champion Sports Radio and the StatGeek.com halftime show at Pennington Field, the home of LD Bell and Trinity. In fact, the 7th time in 11 games that Trinity has played here this season. All right, you ready, Thomas, for your dumb stat of the half? I try to impress you with these.
There's no such thing as a dumb stat.
Okay, what is the key to being number 1 in Texas high school football this season?
That your name starts with the letter A.
Oh, yeah, how did you get that? Oh, my gosh.
Because I'm as big of a nerd about this stuff as you are, Kerry, that's why.
Yes, that's right. Allen leads 5A at number 1. Your 4A leader is Popcorn. It's Popcorn. No, it's Aledo. Aledo, and then Argyle, the number 1 team in 3A. And after that, I really don't know who the 2A is, but it's not starting with an A because I stopped at that point. So the 6-man leader might be an A team too. I'm not sure. But at least the top 3 are all A teams. Now, Doug Steele with Statman 2013 has put together our drives of the first half. So let's go through those right now. Trinity won the toss and elected to defer their option to the second half, and they kicked off to the Marcus Marauders, and it did not start well. 1 play, no yards as they pitched back, and it was fumbled immediately by Alex Albright, and it was a turnover. Trinity took over, 1st down and 10 at the 15-yard line of Marcus. Immediately, they ran Isaac Ellsworth for a loss of 1, but then on the second play, an option right, Christian Hammock takes it 16 yards himself for a touchdown, and Cullen Shipp puts up the extra point. It's good. Trinity on the board within a minute of the first half, 7-0. Marcus got the ball back. They put together a little bit of a drive, 8 plays, but only 22 yards, finally ending with a sack and a punt. Blake Costin only kicked it about 18 yards, and Trinity took over at the 37-yard line, their own 37. After that, they went to the running game with Ellsworth for 6. Babcock breaks one for 31 yards, finally caught from behind, otherwise he would have scored a touchdown. Ellsworth for 5. They punch it into the end zone with 2 straight passes. First, Hammock to DeAndre Gibson for 3 yards. Then he finds Will Taylor the tight end, in the corner of the end zone on a 4th down and 2 play for 18 yards and a touchdown. Tight roping the sideline was big Will Taylor, and they completely fooled the Marcus secondary. What Taylor was by himself. It was 14-0 after that. Marcus got the ball. 3 and out. Only got 5 yards. They punted away, and it's taken at the 48-yard line of Marcus. Trinity in business again. They go 3 plays, 48 yards, capped off by a 30-yard touchdown run by Jaron Wilson for 30 yards after he had run for 6 yards on the previous play. 3 plays, 48 yards. Trinity up 21-0. Marcus puts together a drive after that, but still comes up with no points. 9 plays, 32 yards. They get down into Trinity territory, but they do have to punt it away. And Trinity takes over at their own 1-yard line after a great special teams play. Almost faked the punt coming around to the right side. Chose not to. Kicked it away. It rolled all the way down to the 1-yard line. Trinity puts together a long drive. It's almost, we almost wanted to say it, but we didn't. Could be a 99-yard touchdown drive. It was. 7 plays, 99 yards. Very efficient. Over 10 yards a play, including a 34-yard run by Isaac Ellsworth, another Homer Babcock run, this one for 26 yards, and Tyler Natee gets into the action with a couple runs himself. Finally, after 6 straight runs, they throw it in the end zone. It's on the play action, Christian Hammock to Edric Gonzalez, 23 yards on a post pattern for a touchdown. Cullen Shipp puts it up. It's 28-0, a 99-yard touchdown drive for Trinity. Marcus then puts together their best drive of the game so far. 12 plays, 74 yards, eats up some clock, drives it all the way down inside of a minute to go in the half. They put it into the end zone. Nate Hopkins, a 2-yard touchdown run. They really ran the ball well that entire time with Nate Hopkins and Mark Demery, including a couple passes in the middle that were very nice. Dylan McKee starting to put it together is triggered by the play action and the running game. And finally, Nate Hopkins, 2 yards for a touchdown on 1st down and goal from the 2 after a penalty, and it's 28-7. Trinity gets the ball after the kickoff. They run 1 play and then kneel on it to end the first half. Marcus finally gets on the board inside of a minute, Thomas, but Trinity was dominant the rest of the time.
It was so simple, too, what Marcus was doing. They would just line up, and it was smash-mouth football. It was nothing exotic. It was nothing gimmicky. It was just hat-on hat. Excellent effort by Marcus and really playing physical ball. But, to be able to do that, to sustain that drive after drive after drive is going to be extremely difficult. And it's, down 21 points. A lot of times you think to yourself, okay, you've got an 8-2 team taking on a team that's 2-8. Okay, so it's going to be a 50-point game at the half. It just shows you the resiliency and the desire that the Marauders have to come out here and really try to take it to them. You got a 4th down play action pass for a touchdown, 99-yard touchdown drive that they just methodically chopped away at in chunks moving down the field. This Trinity team is as good as advertised, but I think that even with a 28-7 score, that the Trinity folks will be first ones to line up and tell you that this Marcus team is playing a lot better than they probably anticipated with the record they had coming in.
We come back on the StatGeek.com halftime show. We will cover all the individual statistics and the halftime stats for each team. 28-7 our score. Trinity over Marcus. 1 more half to go in this one. You're listening to the Texas High School Football Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're committed to being the #1 hospital in Northeast Tarrant County. And we're doing it in a number of ways, like 550 physicians, 43 unique specialties, 300 beds, and 24-hour emergency service, to name a few. And here's one more number, 40. As in, we're proud to be your hometown team for healthcare 40 years and counting. Who's #1 in Northeast Tarrant County? Texas Health HEB. Visit texashealth.org/HEB.
You make plans for just about everything, the weekend, vacation, going out to dinner, but have you created a plan for the rest of your life? Start your financial strategy today with AXA Advisors. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through Axe Advisors, LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA, SIPC.
Do you need a boost in exposure? Want to reach local, community-minded folks with information about your business? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast over 600 games for more than 3.5 million listeners. And Champion Sports Radio wants to help you use major high school sports to reach thousands of local fans right in your community. It's also a way for your business to give back to the community by helping all these well-deserving student athletes get some recognition for their accomplishments. The cost simply can't be beat for the effect it will have. You get a lot of bang for your buck, and best of all, it provides an opportunity for the best advertisement of all, word of mouth. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334 or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcast.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
Back here at Pennington Field as we close in on the second half kickoff. Trinity has come out of the locker room. Pennington Field, just kind of an interesting stadium, holds 12,000 people. Built in 1987. It's one of the rare stadiums that doesn't have a track around it. So it feels like we're closer to the field. The fans are definitely closer to the field without a track. So I know that's just kind of a novel thing to talk about. Sorry. In fact, I know why they don't have a track. Do you know that?
Why do they not have a track?
Because it's against it's a city ordinance from Bedford that says all tracks, all running facilities in the city of Bedford have to have public access, and they don't want to give public access to a stadium like this, so they didn't put a track around it. Meanwhile, with that silly knowledge, let's go down to Pete on the sideline.
I tell you what, you learn more stuff on Champion Sports Radio broadcast. I tell you, between Carrie and Brad Denton, I am just a wealth of useless knowledge. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, all kidding aside, caught up with Coach Lineweaver here on the sideline. Obviously pleased, except for one thing, the scoring drive late in the first half. The message to his team was, don't relax. He knows Coach Irwin's team will not quit. Don't be surprised for a little razzle-dazzle even more here in the second half. Back up to you guys.
000 on the clock as we get ready for the second half. Pete Nielsen patrolling the sidelines for us. We'll talk to him from time to time throughout the second half. I'm Kerry Lowry. Thomas Lee with me, and Doug Steele providing all the stats. And speaking of those stats, let's go over some of them from the first half. Again, our score 28-7. Trinity over Marcus. First downs, Marcus actually has more first downs, 12-8, because Trinity gets big plays. So that's kind of how that works. 12-8. Total yards, though, Trinity 230 to 120 for Marcus, almost doubling them up there. Passing yards, just about even, 56 to 46 in favor of Trinity. But it's on the ground where Trinity makes their hay all season long against everybody, 174 yards to 74. Trinity has outgained 9 out of their 10 opponents this season, the exception being the Bentonville team, and they did win that game. So the only team that they did not outgain all season long, the DeSoto Eagles, they did outgain Jenks even in that opener, however, losing by 4 points late. So 174 to 74 is the rushing total. 3 sacks for the Trinity Trojans to none for Marcus. Marcus also, they usually do get some sacks, but Trinity has pretty much kept the ball on the ground most of the time. Penalties, not a huge factor, except for that last one, Thomas, that took away a kick return for a touchdown. 4 penalties for 38 yards for Trinity. That one ended up taking points off the board.
Yeah, and it's a little misleading because the penalty yardage is just what you actually use in the penalty, not what you would have had, like the opportunity cost versus, the penalty having taken place. So the penalty yardage should probably be up over 100 if you had taken what actually was taken off the board.
Third down conversions, Marcus 1 out of 5. Not doing too good in that category. Trinity only had 3 third down attempts all half, and they were 2 for 3 on those. And they actually, the one that they did not get, they ended up with a 4th down, and they converted that. So they have yet to be stopped there. We have not seen the punter for Trinity yet in this game. The average starting field position, Marcus from their 21-yard line, that's pretty normal. What is not normal is Trinity, who is average starting at their own 45-yard line so far in this game. Marcus has doubled up time of possession, 16 minutes to 8 minutes for Trinity. But again, Trinity, 230 yards in those 8 minutes. Marcus Marauders come out onto the field now through the tunnel, and we're almost ready for the second half kickoff. Individual statistics for the first half. For Marcus, the quarterback, Dylan McKee, 3 out of 6 for 46 yards. His long is 19, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He's also run the ball 3 times for negative 18 yards. That's what happens when you get the sacks. They go against your rushing totals in high school and college football. Running the ball for Marcus, Nate Hopkins, a nice game so far, 48 yards. Mark Demery, 29 yards. Cade Irwin has 9 yards rushing. Alex Albright with 3. Mason Ferguson with 3. Receiving the ball is Alex Albright leading the way. 1 catch, 19 yards. Caden Smith, 16 yards. Tanner Roots, 11 yards. On the Trinity side of the ledger, Kristen Hammock, 4 for 4 passing, extremely efficient. 56 yards, 2 touchdowns. Doesn't get much better than that if you're going to throw the ball 4 times, Thomas.
382.6 quarterback rating.
Well, you know what?
I can't even process that.
You only throw it 4 times, you make it count every
and you get 2
time.
touchdowns, too. I mean, efficiency is amazing.
Running the ball, Isaac Ellsworth, 49 yards. Homer Babcock, the big guy, 64 yards. But Jaron Wilson has 36 and a touchdown, and Christian Hammock 18 and a touchdown as John Coppins is ready to kick off. We'll throw it down to Pete real quick. Coppins puts the ball high and deep. Gonzalez takes it at the 9-yard line. A flag behind the play. Gonzalez breaks free again. 30, 35, out to the 40. He's at midfield, and he has a blocker. John Coppins, the only one that can get him. Gonzalez is stretching the sideline. He gets by everybody into the end zone. Repeats his effort from late in the first half for a touchdown, but they'll check the flag. It is holding against Trinity. Another one comes back. All right. That was something. He ran the same basic pattern. He picks up the beautiful blocking downfield, but holding against Trinity is going to be another, like Thomas talked about. The other one was a 70-yard penalty, effectively, and this one is going to be about an 80-yard penalty. Pete, what do you got for us?
Well, I caught up with Coach Irwin as they came out of the tunnel, and his message to his football team was to get 1 stop. If you get 1 stop, you put some more points on the board, you go out and get another stop. Obviously, Coach Irwin's always upbeat, More of the same from him, just deploring his football team. Just try to get a stop, get the offense back on the field.
They're going to get a good chance with poor field position for the Trinity Trojans. However, earlier in the first half, they had the worst field position ever at the 1 yard line, and they managed to go 99 yards for a touchdown. This time they're 87 yards away at their own 13-yard line, up 28-7, opening possession of the second half.
You could actually have you could have it inside your one.
Okay, and then you can give it to Tony Dorsett. Now, here is the handoff from Hammock. He goes up the middle and then moves the pile. Can't even tell where the ball carrier is. However, he does get 2 yards on the play, and that'll be a 2nd down and 8 coming up for Trinity.
Okay, you ready for the bright side report for
Yeah.
Marcus fans? What they've done in the first half more than doubles the output that Colleyville Heritage had the entire ball game against Trinity. 52 total yards, 23 rushing, 29 passing for Heritage back about 6 or 8 weeks ago.
And that's a playoff team that's 8-2. Here's a fake reverse, and keeping it is Ellsworth. He's up the left sideline. He's got one man to beat. Has an angle on him at the 10. He's going to get knocked down. No, he keeps his feet into the end zone. Great effort by the Marcus defender, Travis Perry, but he cannot catch him. And Ellsworth with a huge 87-yard touchdown run on 1st down.
So if we're going to give out an Emmy or an Oscar tonight, it's going to go to Ellsworth on that play because he fakes the reverse, and the whole world went to the other side of the field. Ellsworth kind of tucked the ball away and looked up and went, my goodness, if I take – it's one guy with a possible angle, and he just looked down and ran as hard as he could. What a great play fake there to just open things wide up.
He even looked back as if, like guys do after they hand off. Oh, let me see what my buddy's doing. And then he turned and tucked it and ran. Great job there. And the Trinity misdirection play gets 87 yards. And the kick is up and good from Ship. It's 35-7. You're listening to Texas High School Playoff Football on Champion Sports Radio.
What does a Level 3 Trauma Center mean in an emergency? Everything. And Texas Health HEB is the only Level 3 Trauma Center in Northeast Tarrant County. Along with our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation and Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, that means an exceptional level of care is close by when you need it most. With 24-hour emergency physicians and highly trained nurses with advanced trauma certifications. When every second counts, nothing matters more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
When you want to start a financial strategy, you need one-on-one guidance from some of the best trained professionals in the financial services business. Axe Advisors is part of a global company helping millions of people pursue their financial goals. Contact Thomas Lee with Axe Advisors today to get started on your financial strategy. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through Axe Advisors LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC. You need one-on-one guidance.
And Ship kicks it off from his 40-yard line, again into the wind, and this one holds up. It's going to be taken by Alex Albright at the 20-yard line on the run, and he's upended at the 30-yard line. Make that the 27-yard line, a 7-yard return on the play, and that's where Marcus will start 1st down and 10.
Kerry, I do have to address something. We keep talking about how Heritage is an 8-2 team and in the playoffs and so forth, and all that is technically true, but Geyer whipped them the second week of the season, but had to forfeit the win. So those fans out there who are like, how did they get to 8 wins? That's how.
Here's a pitch back from McKee. It's everybody going to the right side. Hopkins behind all of them, and he slams himself forward into the pile and picks up 3 yards on 1st down. 2nd and 7 coming up from their own 30-yard line.
And this is going to be a test right here for the Trojans defensively to try and figure out how to stop the student body pitches that Marcus has been running thus far, because if they don't show that they can slow it down right here, they're not going to see much else the rest of the playoffs.
And now a keeper by McKee. by Cade Irwin, who comes around right side. Looked promising for the moment. Ends up getting 5 yards on the play with his forward progress. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 2 for Marcus at their own 35.
This reminds me of Well, I can't say old Marcus football because old Marcus footballs throw the ball 70 times in a game, but it reminds me of old Louisville football at least. Let's just line up, I formation, let's pound it, let's smash mouth, let's assert our will, move the chains, 3 yards cloud of dust, and they've had some success with that tonight.
Nate Hopkins is the deep back. 2 tight ends, Miller and Smith, go over to the right side. Behind them, he runs, and Hopkins has a first down and more across the 40-yard line to the 42. And Hopkins is up over 60 yards on the game now.
I can count on one hand how many times I've seen anybody run effectively like Marcus is right now against this Trinity Trojan club in the last probably half dozen or more years.
The number 2 rush defense in the area, the Trinity Trojans, 103 yards per game they allow rushing the ball. Marcus is up to 89 right now, and we're early in the third quarter. And they're not going to stop doing it. Cade Irwin is now under center. He's going to turn around, run the option left, finally pitch really late, kind of hangs Hopkins out to dry. It was just covered so well by the Trinity Trojans. They had both the pitchman and the quarterback covered.
That was a heck of a play right there by Matthew Munoz, the junior defensive back, who, because the play got strung out so far, the pitchman, Irwin, was outside the numbers. There was only about, 3 or 4 yards of room for him to make that pitch. So Munoz just stood his ground right in the middle. Once the pitch made, he attacked Hopkins, who received it, and made the tackle for a loss.
8 in the box for Trinity now. Here's a handoff to the fullback, who gets a little bit of a second effort there to try to get some yardage on 2nd down and 10. And it is Mason Ferguson who's going to get a yard there. That's a fairly good play that they've run all season long to get about 3 or 4 in a misdirection, but that time only got 1. 8 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the third quarter. 35-7 Trinity over Marcus. Opening round of the playoffs in Texas. Rolling out left is McKee, throwing, it's going to be picked off. At the 45-yard line, only the quarterback to beat dances around him, but he slowed him up enough. They take him down inside the 10-yard line. The Trinity Trojans, Bill Carter, the senior, almost gets a pick 6.
That young man has just made play after play after play. He had a big INT in the Bell game earlier this year. And right there, you sensed just an opportunity of Marcus is like, hey, we're coming back in this. We're playing well. We're getting first downs. And right there, that may be the straw as we're getting close to the halfway point here in the third quarter.
35-7, Trinity leads, and they're 10 yards away from packing it on. There's a handoff. It's a fake. Rolling out right now, throwing into the end zone. This one is almost picked off by Marcus near the back of the end zone. Cade Irwin got a beat on it. Pete, what did you see down there?
Hey, guys, as that play is being run by Marcus on the Carter interception, the entire coaching staff is yelling, play action, play action. They are so prepared for this Marcus offense. Back up to you guys.
2nd down and goal from the 10-yard line. They sprint to the line of scrimmage as they customarily do. A move in the backfield, but taken down by Cade Irwin. He is one of the best athletes on this field, and he takes down the runner for a loss on the play. That is Jaron Wilson, the sophomore.
There are not many people who are going to be able to take down Jaron Wilson in the open field. And right there, it's funny. I've talked with Coach Irwin before the season started. It's like, where do you think Cade's going to go? He's like, I don't know. Everybody's after him, and that's the reason why right there.
Now from the shotgun is Hammock. He's got Jaron Wilson flanked to his right. He also has 3 receivers off to the right side of the formation, including Dion Ginyard. Gonzalez is in the slot right. He looks that way, and the play is blown dead, and a timeout is called by Marcus. Didn't like what they saw right there and called the timeout. 6:56 to go in the third quarter. Trinity 35, Marcus 7. You're listening to the Texas High School Football Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are.
He shoots, he scores. 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting, it's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
If you're a basketball parent or coach, you need StatGeek, the simplest way to keep stats ever created. Our easy-to-use iPad app turns anyone into a professional statistician, and all they have to do is simply follow the ball. Produce full and accurate box scores and play-by-play reports. Send accurate stats out to your fans, media, or recruiters. It's sports statistic collection redefined. StatGeek is available right now in the iPad App Store for just $4.99, and there are team fundraising opportunities available as well. On the web at statgeek.com. StatGeek, keep your eye on the ball.
Kerry Lowry, Thomas Lee, Pete Nilsson here at Pennington Field. And here we go on third down. And flags go everywhere as an illegal shift. False start, something to that effect, will cost Trinity 5 yards. They had just lost 3 on that great tackle by Cade Irwin, and that'll push them back. Third down and goal now at the 18-yard line.
So, again, you got the tackle for a loss by Irwin. You got the penalty situation here, and there aren't a lot of third and goal from the 18 plays that you practice for Trinity. Let's see what they pull out of the bag of tricks.
The single running back is Kenneth Gonzalez. Hammock goes back to pass, throws it deep into the edge of the end zone, and the third down and 18 play works. It's a touchdown. The pass to Dion Jr., and he puts the Trinity Trojans up 41-7. Wow.
I'm speechless. It's that there was nothing fancy about that. It reminded me of the old bucket ball that Josh Heupel used to throw at Oklahoma for national championship. But Ginyard right there, he's 6'2", he's 192 pounds. Scotty Alms, 5'9", 165. He had a lot of height. They just threw it up in the back corner of the end zone. Ginyard with a great route to turn Alms' shoulders around. By the time he was able to locate the ball, it was already in the breadbasket of Ginyard for another touchdown for the Trojans.
That ball was in the air longer than some punts. He just chunked it way, way up before the break was even made over on the corner. Trinity 42-7. Again, some other games tomorrow night on Champion Sports Radio. Plano against Skyline. All these games, by the way, 7 o'clock. Oh, I'm sorry, not Plano Skyline. It's Plano West and Jesuit on Champion Sports Radio. Coppell against Irving. LD Bell against Hebron. Ryan against Heritage. And then Saturday, Cedar Hill against Temple. All games except for the Saturday game. 7 o'clock pregame tomorrow night on Champion Sports Radio.
We finally found one stat that Doug Steele can't keep.
And what is that?
Hang time on a pass. It's the one. I've never heard of it either. I just made it up. But still, it's the one stat we don't have at our fingertips here tonight.
Well, we'll work on that. But, yeah, that's a tough one to keep unless we're.
I'm going to steal. Pete just had a good line in my ear. He just said it's only cocktail service on that flight. The flight wasn't long enough to actually serve a meal on the touchdown pass. So, but again, great look by Hammock, and we'll go down to Pete in a second for his observation that he made a moment ago.
Ship kicks it into the wind. It's going to be taken at the 18-yard line by Mark Demery. He's over the left side, over the 25-yard line, and gets out to the 27. That's where they'll start first down and 10. Pete, what do you got for us down there?
Hey, guys, if Christian Hammock plays like this and that running game is as strong as it has been all year, this is a dangerous Trinity football team. His play has improved 150% from the beginning of the season, and there is a flag down on the play. I saw it from behind me. So, but the thought is, if Hammock continues to be as good as he is, watch out for this Trinity football team.
The D1 route could not be any more difficult than it is, but a lot of times folks talking about it are putting Trinity in the afterthought. Oh, they're probably going to lose. Carroll's going to beat him. DeSoto's going to beat them, whatever the case may be. But the fact of the matter is they are a completely different team than the team we saw lose to DeSoto 61-35 back in September some 2 months ago.
Hammock's quarterback rating has dropped to 351 because he had an incompletion. to go with that touchdown pass. So, from the 14-yard line after a penalty on the return, Marcus will go 4 wide receiver spread here with Cade Irwin in the shotgun. Irwin shouts out instructions he gets from the sideline. He has a running back flanked to his left. He's going to fake it to Demery and keep it himself. Run out to the left side. He's got some room. Tries to get the corner. He's going to be taken down by a shoulder pad at the 20-yard line. Give him 6 yards on that run. 6.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Trinity 42, Marcus 7. Trinity up to 332 total yards. Marcus at 142. About to break the 100-yard mark, however, running the ball against Trinity. Cade Irwin shotgun. 2 receivers to the left side, 2 to the right. Ball is on the left hash mark. They have Trinity spread out. Trinity with 6 in the box right now against the Wildcat. And Cade Irwin's going to keep it. He has some room over left end. He's going to be just short of a first down. He picks up 3 on that play. It'll be 3rd down and about 1.5.
So interesting with Cade coming in. I mean, Cole is, from the moment he stepped in as a freshman, played the most of the snaps in that playoff game against Geyer 3 years ago, and about 3 or 4 inches away from knocking off a team that would go all the way to the state championship game. A lot of Marcus fans remember that game as that year as a run that the Marauders should have made. Unfortunately, I'll continue my thought after this play.
3rd down and 1.5. Make that 1, and coming around the left tackle. And it's going to be a first down for the Marcus Marauders across the 25-yard line. That'll move the chains. Cade Irwin on the keeper there.
Looks like there's a competition to see who can get their flag on the field, because I saw one flag come, and then another one come, and then a third come. So I don't know if these are different infractions or if the same play just took more time for one official to get his flag out than others. But, of course, this crew is from the Houston chapter because Coach Irwin and Coach Lineweaver could not agree upon a crew that they wanted to work this ball game. So they just went completely outside the area and brought in, by all accounts, one of the most experienced refereeing crews in the state of Texas. And so far I really haven't had too much of a problem with the way they've officiated this ball game. And they're going to have 2 different infractions on the play.
Face mask against Trinity, and then an unsportsmanlike conduct against Trinity. I believe they will tack both of those on, and it could be a 30-yard penalty. Would they do that? No. It's got to be only 15, right?
Well, it was 15 on the face mask, and then the 30. Unsportsmanlike conduct was called a dead ball foul. So they will get the full 30 yards in penalties after the first down run by Cade. But to conclude my point on Cade, he came in last year, and everybody just expected them to run the ball, and he actually spun it pretty good. So in this formation right here, this is not obviously the ideal situation. I don't think the referee ever whistled that the ball be put into play. The back judge just set it down, and everybody was ready except for the head referee, so we'll have to hold on here a second to make sure it gets spotted in the right spot. But to his point, if his brother was here, it was almost like losing 2 players when he goes out, because with Cade at receiver and Cole at quarterback, it is truly a potent passing attack. With Irwin on the outside, you got Cushing, you got Albright, big Caden Smith over the middle. But when Cole went down, it takes away Cade as a receiving option as well.
Here's a snap back to McKee. They're setting up the screen, and the defensive line has their number, and knocks down the attempted screen that was going out to Alex Albright, and it falls incomplete, almost picked off by Trinity.
You don't get much smarter than this Trinity defense. And right there, TJ Cowtie was on a linebacker blitz from the weak side. As soon as he saw the quarterback roll out, he bailed on trying to get to the quarterback. He's like, I'm not going to get there. He went back and deflected the pass before it got to the intended receiver.
Cade Irwin, or actually McKee, back to pass. Now he's flushed. He keeps it. He runs. He goes out left, and he's going to be close to a first down and go ahead and move the chains. 10 yards on the run for Dylan McKee. They might measure it, but no, it looks like he got all the way there. He's inside the 35-yard line down to the 34 of Trinity. Nice scramble, unintended, for Dylan McKee.
It's going to take something pretty miraculous at this point for Marcus to come all the way back. But I think at the very least, and I'm sure what Coach Irwin said at the half was, hey, let's play like it's 0-0, boys. And he's got so many underclassmen, 8 out of the 11 starters, non-seniors. This is an opportunity for these guys to build some momentum towards next year.
And here's the snap back and a pitch to Mark Demery, and he cannot get to the line of scrimmage without getting hit, and he spins down for a no gain on the play. Demery has been held to 29 yards on the game so far.
And Demery is one of the seniors out here, and he's thinking, hey, I want to pull off the unimaginable, the improbable here. And he's a tough young man that has played for Coach Irwin for a number of years, a real spark plug that I think is going to be missed for sure, especially his speed to the outside on those sweeps.
He is the deep back here, runs a counter, takes the handoff, and it fools the defensive line a little bit, enough to get 5 yards on second down and bring up 3rd down and 5 just inside the 30-yard line of Trinity.
It's really interesting what's happening right now. The linebackers got caught a couple of times in misdirection plays, and so they literally are standing their ground until the ball is advanced and crosses the line of scrimmage. They're not going anywhere. So, unfortunately, it was a well-blocked counter trade to the left side, but there was a linebacker just standing there because he never got faked out and moved anywhere.
I formation here on 3rd down and 5. Cade Irwin is in at quarterback, and he is under center. Nate Hopkins is the deep back. Mason Ferguson, the blocking fullback. Caden Smith over on the other side. Cade Irwin back to pass after he runs the option. He's in trouble, running everywhere, throws it all the way to the opposite side of the field. The only guy standing over there was number 66, which is usually not an eligible receiver, and therefore he did not reach for it, and it goes incomplete.
I thought for a second that was the most brilliant play design I'd ever seen until the strong tackle is the only one standing over there. It's like, oh, yeah, that's probably why nobody stayed with him to defend it. I would have loved to see Logan Russell get his hands on that ball and just be like, who wants it, and just truck down the sideline. But unfortunately, there are rules that prevent such.
Logan Russell, 6'4", 280. That would have been a sight. And now a timeout is called by Marcus as they look to the sideline. 4th down and 5. They lined up to go for it. They saw what Trinity was going to do. They call a timeout. Their second timeout of the second half with 3:49 to go in the 3rd quarter. Pete Nielsen on the sideline.
Hey, guys, there's not many offensive lines in the Metroplex that match up with the size of this Trinity offensive line. Marcus is one of them. They're close. Nobody's as big as this line over here on this sideline, but this Marcus offensive line, there's no quitting in. They're just like Coach Irwin. It doesn't matter if it's 42-7. They're going to play to the end of the game, but their physicality is obviously noticed here on this drive.
You got the strong side. We already mentioned Logan Russell a moment ago at 280. You got Dylan Russell, 285. Dallas Nicholas at center at 240. I mean, there's a lot of beef. That's one of the things that most teams can't match up against, the size of the Trojan front line. But the Marauders right here are doing a good job of getting a hat on a hat. Problem is, where Marcus normally can get a block, release, get out, and get a second block and spring it for a big ground gainer, you're not having those types of opportunities against the Trojans.
4th down and 5. Dylan McKee is under center. I formation with Hopkins the deep back. Here is a fake to him, and it's a throw out to the left side. Caden Smith has it at the 15-yard line. Puts it down inside the 10, down to the 9. They throw it to their tallest, most consistent receiver all season long on 4th down and 5 when they had to have it, and he just really can't be covered when you throw the ball high like that.
So impressive. He's such a big physical specimen at 6'5", 225 pounds. Just a sophomore. He's still grown into his body too. But at that point, the ball was up in the air. Nice throw by McKee just to put it up there, and nobody was going to get higher than Caden Smith to bring it down.
That puts him over 600 yards receiving on the season for a tight end. Quite an accomplishment, a big future for the sophomore from Marcus. Now a timeout is called by Trinity as they come in from the sideline to shut this play down. It was 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. 42-7 our score, 3:21 to go in the 3rd quarter.
So a drive that's been keyed by a couple of 15-yard penalties on Trinity, a couple of 3rd and 4th down conversions by Marcus, and here they are knocking on the door, and that's why you look at some of those explosive plays that happened in the first half. and then you had the interception that was almost returned for a touchdown here in the second half. You know, it's kind of the story of the season for Marcus. Play in and play out, they are lining up and they are competing, but it's the game-changing plays that they have not been able to produce and manufacture themselves, and I think that's been the biggest difference for the Marauders this season.
They're not a big play offense, yet they can grind it out with you. But given the circumstance, they are not the team that's going to go 3 plays 90 yards down the field to try to put it in the end zone. They are methodical. That offensive line that Pete was talking about is probably the best unit of all on the Marcus team, along with the defensive line is also very good as well. The offensive line are just people movers up there, and they are doing it tonight against an incredible defensive line for the Trinity Trojans. Here we go. The 2 tight ends shift over to the left side of the formation. The ball is on the left hash mark. They run behind him. Mark Demery looking for blockers, puts his hand on one of the blockers, gets forward progress down to the 7-yard line before he is stopped. It'll be 2nd and goal from there.
This may open up for the Marcus coaching staff, but as soon as the 2 tight ends move from the right side of the formation to the left, all the linebackers and one of the safeties rotated over there as well. You go play fake on that side, McKee, Irwin, whoever's at quarterback might be able to just walk in and a naked bootleg to the other side. We'll have to see if they go to that well.
Tanner Roots is the receiver out on the right side of the formation. McKee under center. He's going to turn around, fake it, roll right. Now he's going to tuck it. He's still looking in the end zone. Now he tucks to run, and he's going to be pulled down with a possible horse collar, but he's down at the 6, and I make that the 6-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and goal from there.
Yeah, that was Inoke Nalo who flew in, and I know why you thought that. He kind of reached over the shoulder pad. He also reached around the waist, and he just carried McKee down to the turf. But not quite a horse collar, but kind of did look like that. But he's just so fast. He's like a missile fired out at that linebacker position, maybe the best linebacker the Trojans have.
Caden Smith, the tight end, over on the right side, which is the short side of the field. 3 running backs now rolling. They're going to throw out of this formation, and it is caught in the end zone but out of bounds. 4 Trinity defenders in the area, but the catch still made, but it was out of bounds to Caden Smith. 1:53 to go in the 3rd quarter, and make that a 4th down and goal from the 6-yard line. Obviously going to go for it here, the Marcus Marauders.
And that's the problem when you have a weapon that is as potent and as imposing as Caden Smith. When it comes into that situation, you think they're going to go with a play-action pass. The entire secondary just was with him over to the side. He still almost came down with the ball.
Here they go. Alex Albright will be a slot receiver on the left. McKee in the shotgun. Tanner Roots goes into motion. It's a fade pattern to Caden Smith. In the end zone, he catches it, touchdown. This was the Calvin Johnson Megatron play in the corner of the end zone. Caden Smith with the TD.
That's just impressive. They ran the action away. They put one of the tight ends, Will Miller, split out wide to the left, one of 2 receivers that way. They brought a 3rd receiver, I think it was Cushing in motion, or maybe it was Roots, over to that left side as well. They spread out the defense. There was no way they could quadruple teep Smith on that play. And Bill Carter is one of the best cornerbacks in North Texas, but he is not going to keep up with the 6'5 Caden Smith, who can high point it and pluck it out of the air like that.
And credit Dylan McKee with his first career touchdown pass. Trinity 42, Marcus 14, late in the 3rd quarter. You're listening to the Texas High School Football Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio.
Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
Back here at Pennington Field, first round of the playoffs on a Thursday night. Kicking it off here on Champion Sports Radio, Kerry Lowry with Thomas Lee, Pete Nielsen on the sideline, Doug Steele on stats. From the 40-yard line, John Coppins will put his foot into it and drill it down the left side of the field as he normally does. It goes to Gonzalez at the 7-yard line. He comes across. He's run two back that have been called back, and this time, nothing. He is taken down, but they might have got a piece of the face mask on the way down, and it could be a big penalty against Marcus, but at least it's not a run back for a touchdown like the other two.
Yeah, that's a tough play. The official was right there trailing the play, and the Marauder went high trying to bring down Gonzalez, and just really not much of a chance to do anything. He really kind of grabbed him high. I think it was Taylor Bell who played a lot of defensive back last week against Hebron. And I thought it was pretty clean. The official was closer than I was, although I think he didn't have the right angle. Either way, it's going to be a 15-yard penalty, and the Trojans see their lead whittled down a little bit, but for Marcus to have a true chance of coming back in this one, they've got to get a stop.
From the left hash mark, first down and 10. From their own 27-yard line, counter, running up the middle for a couple yards is the running back, J-Ron Wilson. He's going to get 4 yards there on first down. It'll be second down and 6. I love the first down 4-yard carry. It opens up your offense for second down. Obviously, second and 1 opens it up too, but just you can do anything at this point.
And that's what the Trinity offense has been predicated on for 14 years under Steve Lineweaver. It's we're going to pound it on the ground. We're going to make you overcommit into the box, and then at that point, that's where we're going to take our shots deep, whether it's Christian Hammock or Denarius McGee or whoever is at quarterback.
And there's a handoff to the deep back. Wow, he got a head of steam right into across the 35-yard line, but then upended by Travis Perry there, who stops him short of a first down.
Moses Nunutau, the right guard, just absolutely kicked open a hole. And I think Pete could have run through down there on the sideline. I mean, nobody touched the back until he crossed the 35-yard line. It's a good 4.5-yard run.
J-Ron Wilson with 41 yards now on 6 carries, averaging almost 7 yards a carry. Does have a touchdown in this game on a 30-yard run. Big third down here for Trinity. They're 3 out of 4 on third down, and they're going to be 3 out of 5 as upended before he can get to the marker. Is the Trinity runner there? I'm not sure. Tyler Natee was the runner on that one. They have such a stable of running backs. As we come to the close of the the third quarter, it's going to be 4th down for Trinity inside their own territory at the 36-yard line. When we come back, we'll see a punt or we'll see a 4th down conversion attempt. 42-14, Trinity over Marcus. You're listening to the Texas High School Football Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're not just celebrating 40 years of caring for our community, but also our ongoing commitment to provide the highest level of health care in Northeast Tarrant County. In fact, we're now the only Level 3 trauma center in the region, not to mention our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation, Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, and designation as a certified primary stroke center. After 40 years, we're better than ever. And here's to 40 more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
For some high school seniors, achieving excellence goes beyond top grades, and AXA wants your help in recognizing them. Up to 12 DFW area students will receive a $2,000 AXA Achievement Community Scholarship, and one senior in Texas will receive a scholarship worth up to $25,000. Do you know a local high school senior who has excelled at a job, sport, community project, or other extracurricular activity? They may be eligible for an AXA Achievement Community Scholarship. For more details, contact Thomas Lee at AXA Advisors, 972-455-9114.
And Trinity is going to line up to punt. Dion Ginyard puts it high downfield, a little short, and Cade Irwin is going to take it. He's going to muff it, And now he picks it up, and he gets by the first couple defenders. Then he drops it again, and it's going to be picked up by him. He's going to pounce on it there. A very exciting 3-yard run back, Thomas. First down and 10 for the Marcus Marauders at their own 33-yard line.
It's exactly what Marcus needed. A little bit of a kick, a stop, the first one of the game. Don't count him out just yet.
McKee, they're running the reverse. Cushing is back to throw. The pitcher is going to tuck it. No, he's going to throw last second to get it out of bounds. And, you know, that's a really smart play because it ends up incomplete. No receiver in the vicinity, but he was well out of the pocket.
The whole thing was set up after the reverse back to the right side, all on the left side, is supposed to be Alex Albright. The sophomore speedster is supposed to be the last man out to practice down the left side. Problem is, there were 3 Trojan defenders on him. And so Cushing saw that and went, yeah, this one's not working out as coach drew it up.
Cade Irwin comes in at quarterback, and he'll go into the shotgun. 4 receivers. The ball is on the right hash mark. He hands it off to Hopkins coming around left side, and there is a flag thrown on the play. It would be no gain pending the infraction. 11:35 to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Trinity players clapping, so it probably is going against Marcus on the outside. It is a hold. But what a job. You're talking about so many times linebackers are supposed to set the edge. And Kyle Unga was just waiting for him. Just come on, bring it. And I think there was a little bit of a hold as he tried to, as the offensive player, the receiver tried to keep him out from making the play. It really didn't even matter. There were 2 other black jersey Trojan defenders there. And Coach Lineweaver initially said he wanted to accept the penalty, and now he's saying, no, we'll decline that one.
Declining it brings up 3rd down and 10. So it was that choice between 2nd and 20 or 3rd and 10. They'll go with 3rd and 10. Tanner Roots brings in the play from the sideline. Dylan McKee is the quarterback. Ball in the left hash mark. 2 receivers to either side of the formation. Caden Smith on the left side. McKee looks left, now flushed right. He's going to be sacked way back at the 24-yard line. The Trinity defense comes up strong on 3rd down and 10, and it'll be 4th and very long.
McKee trying to set up, after you take your drop, plant your back foot, and then step into the throw. Problem is, as soon as he plants his back foot, there are 2 different defensive linemen bearing down on him. He tries to scramble out of it and keep the play alive, and this front 7 for Trinity is about as good as it gets in the Metroplex, and it's been a tough night for Marcus as it is for most Trinity opponents.
Standing back at his own 11-yard line is Blake Cawson. He'll be kicking against the wind here. Low snap. He goes off to the left, almost blocked. He gets a good one out of this. It's going to take a Marcus roll this time, down to the 31-yard line, or 36-yard line of Trinity. That's where they'll start 1st down and 10 with 11:01 to go in the ball game.
Well, this is one of those spots where Coach Lineweaver's offense normally comes out and just kind of saddles up that big offensive line, try to milk good 5, 6, 7 minutes off the clock. And points aren't the most important thing right here for the Trinity offense. They're looking to milk the clock down as far as possible before Marcus gets their next chance with the football.
1st down and 10. And a handoff to the fullback, Homer Babcock. And he powers his way for what would have been about a 4-yard gain, but it ends up being 9.5.
I think the best part about that run is the way that Babcock, like most Trojan running backs, 2 hands on the football, cradling it like a bag full of money right there, and there was no way he was going to let any of those Marauder defenders rip it away.
Ball's out to the 45-yard line of Trinity. They have a 2nd down and 1 here, inside 10.5 minutes to go in this opening round playoff game. Gonzalez goes into motion across the left side of the formation, and they hand off to the deep back. And he gets a 1st down and a little bit more. Isaac Ellsworth moves the chains out to midfield just inside Marcus territory at the 49-yard line.
So impressive. You have the jet sweep action on the handoff to Gonzalez. You got a linebacker following him, a member of the secondary going as well. And what that does is you're trying to maintain gap control for the defensive line in the front, but that little bit of motion just kind of shifts them about an inch or so, and that's all you need in this heavy motivation and momentum type blocking offensive line like Trinity has.
Hand off to the I-back. It's Kenneth Gonzalez this time, and he's going to get 3 yards on first down. 2nd and 7 coming up. Inside 10 minutes to go in the game. The winner of this game looks like it will be Trinity. They will face the winner of a tomorrow night's matchup between Shoemaker High out of Killeen and Mansfield Timberview.
A Timberview team is something to be reckoned with. Had a knockdown, drag-out slobber knocker with Hebron earlier this season, and that win over Hebron is what started opening eyes to what the Wolves could do.
Spinning option out to the right side, and Gonzalez, Kenneth Gonzalez, ends up getting the pitch from Hammock, and he's going to be down to the 41-yard line of Marcus. It'll set up a 3rd down and short there.
As the great Brad Denton would say, a thumbs-down pitch to the outside there. It's football reminiscent of the 80s Plano Wildcats, among other teams, but it's interesting how much Marcus is slowing down this Trinity offense since about the halfway point of the second quarter. Since then, it's been darn near an even ball game after that 28-0 lead that Trinity raced out to.
3rd down and 2. 3 out of 4, or make that 3 out of 5 on 3rd downs are the Trinity Trojans, and they'll get this one here as Homer Babcock bouncing off defenders and now breaking free into the open. He's caught from behind, but not until he's all the way inside the 20-yard line, down to the 19. Homer Babcock up near 100 yards on the game.
So shifty. He's got the great shoulders as well. And when you get those shoulders involved in the fake, a lot of times it allows you as a smaller running back to kind of, as you said, bounce off defenders. And you get them leaning one way, you get your shoulders going the other way, all of a sudden they're a little off balance. And even if you're 4'5", you can bowl over people. But that's something Babcock's been doing for years for the Trojans.
6 rushes, 97 yards for the bowling ball fullback from Trinity. Kenneth Gonzalez is the I-back here. They fake to, or they actually gave it to the fullback on the play. That was Tyler Nate. And the quick hitter there gets about 5 yards. They're down to the 15-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Once again, Cade Irwin in on the stop. It's unbelievable. No matter if he's playing offense or defense, that young man is always around the football.
Single setback is Kenneth Gonzalez now. Looking to the sideline. Hammock gets the play change. The play clock is down to 12 as he steps back, looks at his wristband to get the play. 2 receivers out to the left side. And he's going to throw it out there on the little screen. He's got a man for a 1st down just outside the hash marks there. DeAndre Gibson makes the catch and zips out there to move the chains for the Trinity Trojans. It'll be 1st down and goal.
I really think that they need to change the way the statistics are done in football, because maybe that was a pass, but the pass went forward about 6 inches, if anything. That was nothing more than a long handoff to get the ball into Gibson in space, and credit the slot receiver with a great block. That allowed Gibson to bounce it to the outside and pick up the 1st down.
Edric Gonzalez comes out far to the right side as they go to the I formation with Kenneth Gonzalez in the backfield. He takes the handoff, goes over left tackle, and he's going to weave his way through the linebackers down to the 6-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal from there. 6.5 minutes to go in the game.
Maybe not the quantity of time that they normally can pull down, but this is a very Trinity Trojan, I like to call it a championship drive right here. You had the ball, with a ton of time left. You have slowly, methodically worked it down the field, chewed up as much time as possible, and now you're with a great opportunity to add some more points. This is what championship teams do, like a boa constrictor, something that Marcus has done for years under Coach Irwin.
Here's the pitch back to Kenneth Gonzalez. Coming to the right side, he gets through the front line, squirts past them to the 3-yard line before he is stopped. 3rd down and goal from the 3 coming up here. 5:45 to go in the game. Clock continues to roll.
Jacob Carmichael, the linebacker, in on there. And on the edge, getting a hit as there were some substitutions that came in for Marcus before that play was run. This is an opportunity here for the Marcus defenders to be really proud of themselves if they can keep them out of the end zone, although Coach Lineweaver probably is thinking this is 4-down territory here as they're at the 3-yard line.
Hammond gets the call in from the sideline. They're still in the huddle with 10 on the play clock, but they come out of that quick. Here comes the 10th play of the drive for the Trinity Trojans. Hammock under center, snaps it with 1. Handoff, Kenneth Gonzalez into the end zone, standing up. Touchdown, Trinity Trojans.
It's a great job at the point of attack as you've got Patrick Vahe, the left tackle, Mosesi Vakasiola, both pulling around and kicking open a hole that Gonzalez. Part of the gift of these smaller, more diminutive running backs, first of all, they're tough because they play for Steve Lineweaver. That's the case. Second of all, they get small. They're already 5'4", 5'5", 145 pounds. Then they turn their shoulders sideways, and they can slip through even the smallest of cracks. And, this offensive line doesn't have to open up huge holes every time because these backs are so adept at getting through.
5 minutes to go in this ball game. Trinity 49, Marcus 14. You're listening to the Texas High School Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
Time for the kickoff here at Pennington Field. Trinity in control of this one, fourth quarter. Here's the kick. It is high and short. It'll be taken at the 14-yard line by Mark Demery. Spins out of 1 tackle, but he's taken down at the 22. And that's where they'll start first down and 10. Again, the winner of this game will face the winner of the Killeen Shoemaker and Mansfield Timberview matchup, which Timberview would be favored in the computer rankings. Timberview number 15 and Trinity number 14. So you spoke about Timberview, and they had the big win over Hebron early. Their losses are to DeSoto and Cedar Hill, nothing to be ashamed of there. And then a late loss once they had their playoff slot clinched. They lost to Duncanville in the final game of the district season. They are the number 2 defensive team in the area. Mansfield Timberview. First down for the Marcus Marauders. Here's a pitch out to the left side to John Hutcherson, his first time in the game. And he's going to get about a half a yard on first down. It'll get that clock running at 4:40 to go.
Talking about Timberview, if your 2 losses are to DeSoto and Cedar Hill, you know what? That doesn't tell me anything because those are 2 of the best teams in Texas. Cedar Hill, of course, all the way to the 5A Division II state championship game last year, and we all know what DeSoto is capable of. All those who were down at Kincaid Stadium for the Trinity DeSoto game a couple months ago.
And here's a counter play to Mark Demery, and he gets into the secondary, and it'll move the chains for the Marcus Marauders. He's all the way out to the 35-yard line. And Demery is up to 49 yards on the game now.
Let's go down and bring in Pete in our Timberview conversation here. Peter?
Hey, that's that Timberview team with Tevin Muse and Edward Paris. Paris is an LSU signee. Muse didn't play in that Cedar Hill game, and it obviously made a difference. But those are 2 very, very talented football players. In fact, it was that connection in the Hebron game with less than a minute to go that was the difference in that football game. So very, very good football team.
And here is a pass. They're going deep. McKee finds a man downfield. It's Tanner Roots, and he tries to work back to the ball, and instead he is interfered with. It is incomplete, but flags fly everywhere as the cornerback never was able to turn around, and he made contact.
What a heck of a job, though, by Roots just to try to – he almost one-handed that ball reaching behind the defender. Really, really impressive effort there, and he had a step on him. But then, of course, the pass kind of hung up going into the breeze here as they work from right to left.
And they'll mark off the 15-yard penalty for pass interference. That'll move the ball right to midfield, right in the center of the field here at Pennington. And it'll be first down and 10 for Marcus. Down 49-14, inside 4 minutes to go in the game. And they continue to go at it, the Marcus Marauders. Yet another playoff season for Marcus. Here's a pass out to Blake Bowling on the left side, and that one almost a lateral, but it goes over the head of Blake Bowling, straight out of bounds. It'll be second down and 10. Shoemaker from Killeen, they're the 98th team in the computer rankings, so you would think that they would be somewhat of an underdog. However, they're the only team to beat Midway in district play down there in Central Texas, giving Midway their only blemish on a 6-1 district record, and that was Shoemaker. They lost shootouts to Copperas Cove and Temple, two powerful playoff teams this season as well. They can put up a lot of points if they were able to get through Timberview and get to play Trinity. Third down and 9. The deep back is Demery. Counter to him, runs into his quarterback, then runs into a Trinity lineman who got into the backfield, and a big loss on the play of 4 yards. It'll bring up fourth down for Marcus from their own 47.
The job that Brian Irwin and his staff has done now for 2 consecutive years. You know, most locker rooms you may catch a cold and that get passed around. For Marcus, it's been the injury bug that has been passed around. The number of games missed due to injury last year and this season for Marcus starters is staggering. And the fact that no matter what, he still has them in the playoffs, really a testament to the great job that this staff does.
And there's a pass over the middle. It's incomplete. Going for Caden Smith right at the marker on fourth down and 13, and he might have been interfered with, Thomas. There are flags everywhere.
I don't think he was interfered with. I mean, he got tackled before the ball got there, but it wasn't some light interference.
Does that count?
We'll see. We'll see what goes on with this officiating crew, but it was, I don't know, a lot of times a play like that, you think to yourself, okay, if he catches it, no big deal. But if he catches it, shakes off a tackle, and runs for a touchdown, the coaches are going to be all over the defensive back who was there for the Trojans, and a lot of backups have rotated in now for Trinity as well, I might add. But, well, I don't know. If I'm a Trojan defensive coach, I don't know if I really have a problem with that, even though it was fourth down.
McKee back to pass, looking for the screen. He throws it, and it's batted right back at him. It would have been a loss of about 20, but it hits off his chest, and it goes to the ground. Great penetration on the screen. They blow it up, just the lineman.
That was a sophomore, Christopher Daniels, that came flying through there. He's got a huge wingspan at 6'4", 268 pounds. He was able to deflect it. Heck, he almost caught it, too. In fact, McKee almost caught the ball as well. Luckily, I think he just kind of knocked it to the ground.
Here's a pass out to the right. Tanner Roots has it at the line of scrimmage and turns upfield on second down and 10. He's going to get 5 yards there. Third down and 5 coming up for Marcus as we approach the 2-minute mark in this game. And now a timeout called as a Trinity player is down. We'll take a break here. You're listening to the Texas High School Football Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio.
There's a time and a place for everything.
As you'll see, projections for the next quarter are.
He shoots, he scores. 2 points for team middle management.
The office is not one of them.
Jack, can I see you in my office?
No pouting. It's your ball. Let's see what you got.
But Whirly Ball is. For corporate events, team building, and private parties, Whirly Ball in Hearst and Plano is electric fun. Test your skills on the arcade games. Zip around in your Whirly Bug for a Whirly Ball competition. Or play the most affordable laser tag in the city. Learn more at whirlyball.info.
If you're a basketball parent or coach, you need StatGeek, the simplest way to keep stats ever created. Our easy-to-use iPad app turns anyone into a professional statistician, and all they have to do is simply follow the ball. Produce full and accurate box scores and play-by-play reports. Send accurate stats out to your fans, media, or recruiters. It's sports statistic collection redefined. StatGeek is available right now in the iPad App Store for just $4.99, and there are team fundraising opportunities available as well. On the web at statgeek.com. StatGeek, keep your eye on the ball.
Third down and 5 coming up here for Marcus. Kerry Lowry, Thomas Lee, Pete Nielsen. At Pennington Field, the opening round of the Texas High School Football Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio. McKee throws it out to the right side to Tanner Roots. He gets by one guy, gets by another, sprints up near the hash marks, and he's going to get 4 yards on 3rd down and 5, and it'll bring up a 4th down for Marcus.
What a nice display of a lot of different skills by Roots on that play as he caught the ball. That's A. B, he made some shifty moves to elude a couple tackles, and then he finished it with the power run. That's the 3rd different skill he showed. Darn near picked up the 1st down, too.
He's a converted defensive back who came over to the offensive side this season. 4th down and 2, and quickly a flag is down. I believe that McKee was able to get the ball snapped as soon as Trinity was jumped over on the hard count, Thomas, and that's a sneaky way to get a 1st down, but you'll take every one of those.
It's the 2nd time tonight that McKee has done it with the hard snap count, and it counts the same as any other play that goes for a 1st down as well. Nice job to at least move the chains as Marcus is trying to put up maybe another score here before the end of the game. 75 seconds, though.
They quickly go to the line, pitch back, student body right to Mark Demery. He gets the corner, turns up field, and he's going to get close to a 1st down. The clock will run as he landed inbounds, but it looks like about 10 yards for Mark Demery there.
Good hard running, not wanting to give up. You saw it from the offensive line. You see it from Demery as well. They are fighting hard, trying to move the chains. They want another score before their season ends.
2nd down and 1. Pitch back, same play. Demery tripped up in the backfield, but manages to dive forward and get the 1st down. The clock stops as they move the chains. 40 seconds to go in this game. Again, pride drive here for the Marcus Marauders. First down from the 15-yard line. Now clock runs, 30 seconds to go in the game. Roots comes into motion. McKee in the shotgun. He looks into the end zone, throws it for Caden Smith. He catches it. Touchdown. What a catch. Back shoulder, then turns himself around and makes the catch.
So I'm sitting here watching the formation and the play and everything, and I see Roots come in motion from the right side to the left side. I went, they're going to throw that fade once again on the right side. Worked just like it did on the other end of the field for a touchdown. And for the Marauders, you've got to feel good about the way you've been able to persevere this season and in this ball game, not giving up until the clock hits triple zeros. All of these things that are staples of a Brian Irwin club.
Caden Smith, his 8th touchdown catch of the season. Fantastic sophomore season for him. John Coppins puts the extra point up. It is good. And Marcus has 21 points on the board against Trinity. They only allowed 18.5 points a game during the season. The playoffs are tougher. Marcus putting up a fight here. But Trinity well in control with 22 seconds to go in the ball game.
It's really unbelievable what Marcus has done. I know I keep harping on it here, but this Trinity team is one of the behemoths in the state of Texas. I mean, they absolutely load up. They're physical. It's the type of program that Coach Irwin has been known for, and if it weren't for injuries, would still be known for through this year. And, from the moment that Marcus fell to Coppell a couple of weeks ago. Pretty much knew you make the playoffs, you're going to have to face off against Trinity in the first round. So I tip my cap to the coaching staff, to the kids, everybody who backs this Marcus program. Nothing to be ashamed of here whatsoever. Great effort, great intensity from the kids. Just need a couple breaks on the injury front.
4 different quarterbacks have had 30 pass attempts this season for the Marcus Marauders. Gives you an idea of what they've had to go through on the injury front. Coppins will pop this one up short. Fair catch is called for and made by Gonzalez at the 25-yard line. Edric Gonzalez is wherever the ball is in the air. Have you noticed that? Outside of defense, if the ball's in the air, number 4 is going to be under it somehow.
Or on the catch that DeAndre Gibson made on the left side, a little bubble screen earlier, Gonzalez is the one that laid out the block that allowed him to get the first down. I mean, it's, again, I don't know what they do, but they absolutely, the Trinity Trojans, have cornered the market on 5'5" high school football players that are as tough as nails.
Here's a counter to the deep back on this play. He's going to give about 6 yards on first down. His first carry of the game, that is Michael Perez for Trinity, and that will close it out here as they count down inside 5 seconds. And both teams will come out and greet each other at the 50-yard line. A well-played game on both sides. Trinity comes out on top, 49-21 here at Pennington Field. We'll come back with the WhirlyBall.com postgame show on Champion Sports Radio.
Broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by Champion Sports Radio. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of the audio stream, and any and all other use of the accounts of this broadcast without the direct written consent and permission of Champion Sports Radio is strictly prohibited. All rights are reserved by Champion Sports Radio and ChampionSportsRadio.com. This is a presentation of Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcasts.
What does a Level 3 Trauma Center mean in an emergency? Everything. And Texas Health HEB is the only Level 3 Trauma Center in Northeast Tarrant County. Along with our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation and Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, that means an exceptional level of care is close by when you need it most. With 24-hour emergency physicians and highly trained nurses with advanced trauma certifications. When every second counts, nothing matters more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
For some high school seniors, achieving excellence goes beyond top grades, and AXA wants your help in recognizing them. Up to 12 DFW area students will receive a $2,000 AXA Achievement Community Scholarship, and one senior in Texas will receive a scholarship worth up to $25,000. Do you know a local high school senior who has excelled at a job, sport, community project, or other extracurricular activity? They may be eligible for an AXA Achievement Community Scholarship. For more details, contact Thomas Lee at AXA Advisors, 972-455-9114.
Are you looking for a way to promote your business or increase exposure? Do you just need more people to know that you're there? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast over 600 games to more than 3.5 million listeners. And Champion Sports Radio wants to help you use major high school sports to reach thousands of local fans right in your community. Think about it. Die-hard fans just like you tune in each and every week, giving your business unparalleled access to the community. It's the perfect way for smaller individually owned businesses to cultivate a core clientele or expand their already loyal customer base. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334 or online at ChampionSportsRadio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcast.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
Just concluding the haka dance, as is traditional, win or lose for the Trinity Trojans. The crowd loves that. Final score 49-21. Welcome to the WhirlyBallHEB.com postgame show on Champion Sports Radio. Kerry Lowry with Thomas Lee, Pete Nielsen catching up with coaches down on the field right now. We'll check in with him as soon as he's ready. Opening round of the playoffs started tonight on Champion Sports Radio. Over 300 games, 320 to be exact, going to be played this weekend statewide across all divisions. This, the big division, 5A Division 1. And this region packed full of powerhouses, Thomas, and Trinity is not going to have an easy road at all going forward. And they handled things tonight after a soft district schedule, but they've got a big road coming forward for the Trinity Trojans.
Timberview's no slouch, assuming they beat Shoemaker tomorrow night. The winner of that one probably takes on the winner of Friday night's game between Arlington Bowie and South Lake Carroll. If you're lucky to get by there, the DeSoto Eagles are probably waiting for you. Yeah, this is murderer's row of high school football here in the state of Texas. Is this top Region 1 bracket here in the 5A Division 1, the big school bracket for 5A football. I mean, it's just chock full of nationally ranked teams. The good news is because Allen is in 10-5A, that's Region 2. So you at least, if you're Trinity, you at least put off that showdown until the state semifinals. And if you get there, you most certainly have earned it after probably getting some revenge on the DeSoto Eagles for the loss back in September.
Unbelievable teams up and down. We've both been lucky enough to carry a team all the way through to the state championship. And I remember the Allen run in 2008. Every single game was against a powerhouse undefeated team, it seemed like, and it came down to the fourth quarter every single time. There is nothing easy. Let's take it down to Pete, down with the coach.
Finally catching up with a busy Coach Lineweaver here on the sideline, taking care of business. Kids got school tomorrow. They need to go home. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we got a few finals we got to go prepare for. So I forgot to remind them before the game, hey, we call it Afterglow. We love to visit with our fans and our parents, but tonight we got to cut it short.
Coach, your running game as advertised again tonight, but I got to tell you, the play of your quarterback from the beginning to the season to now, wow, is he improving, and what a great job he had tonight.
You couldn't say it any better. We said last Sunday with our coaching staff, compliment Christian. He's the most improved quarterback we've ever had from the start to the end. He just kept bringing it, and he's so focused in his meetings and his maturity, and so we're really, really proud for him. It means a lot to him, as it does to all these boys.
Coach, the extra day, obviously a benefit. Next week it could be Timberview, it could be Killeen Edison. Any idea where those games would be? Have we made that decision yet?
5 o'clock, AT&T Stadium. Used to be known Cowboy Stadium.
If it's Timberview.
Either one.
Oh, okay, there you go. So we wish you luck. We'll be there. We'll see you, and have a good evening.
Thank you so much.
Guys, that's head coach Steve Lineweaver and Thomas. There you have it, 5 o'clock.
I don't know why you ever second guess me, Peter. I told you the game was going to be at AT&T Stadium, and I love the way that Coach Lineweaver said it too. Formerly known as Cowboy Stadium. That's how those of us in the business still refer to it too.
Well, that's why I'm on the sideline in the cold, and you're up there in the heat.
It is toasty up here, especially with the nachos and popcorn.
Thanks guys.
Pete will try to go track down Brian Irwin, who still has his team huddled together, and I know it's got to be emotional right now for Coach Irwin. That's what the playoffs bring you, Kerry. And on the one hand, you have the highs of highs. You get a playoff win. Unfortunately for the kids, they got to go to school tomorrow and take finals and stuff like that. That's a terrible schedule for them. But the fact of the matter is, you got the highest of highs on one side, and for the others, you've got some really special ball players who have put a lot into this Marcus Marauder program. On the offensive line, Logan Russell, Dylan Russell, Dallas Nicholas. You've got running back, Mark Demery, Mason Ferguson. I mean, they just mean so much to this program with everything they put into it. Tanner Roots at the skill position as well. The good news is, though, as we start going through some of these names, a lot of these guys are coming back for next year for Coach Irwin. Well, let's continue to look at some of the other seniors. I mean, the defense is littered with them. Kyle Coe, Jeremy Robinson, who is really a fantastic player at the nose guard position. Michael McMillan, Jake Whitson, Kristen Schaffler all over the field tonight. Trevor Costello, he had a whale of a game last week against Hebron. And, just it's amazing to me how young this Marcus team is. And by making the playoffs this year, having an extra week of practice, knowing what it's like to get into postseason play and so forth, with a lot of these guys coming back for next year, I think well, first of all, we'll have to figure out what the district's going to look like in February when the UIL plays Boggle again and we find out where Marcus lands. But it's going to be pretty impressive to see what this team is able to do with the offseason, with all these young kids getting all the significant amount of playing time, and what they might be able to do next year, because now that's going to be the focus after the loss tonight.
You'll have Nate Hopkins as getting some valuable experience as a sophomore this season, and he'll be coming back and probably the starting halfback for the team, and I'm sure that they'll have others that they will reload there. Remember, Hopkins didn't even come up until the opening of district. He was on JV, but due to the Demery injury, he was able to come up and get some playing time, and so did the quarterbacks. And like you said,
all of them, yeah.
Yeah, all the quarterbacks. Now, what I really like about the Marcus prospects for next year, the entire starting and backups on the defensive backfield, the corners and safeties, all underclassmen. Cameron Hupfer, sophomore. Travis Perry, junior. Cade Irwin, junior. Ashton Easley, who was injured tonight, cornerback, he's a junior. Jared Mack playing behind him. Scotty Alms, who got a lot of time tonight, he's a junior. They're just really going to be strong in their pass defense. They're just going to have to retool up front just a little bit.
And to Marcus's credit, they now have played off against the two toughest defenses statistically in the Metroplex. A 17-3 loss at Plano back at the beginning of October, and now tonight they were able to put up 21 points on the Trinity Trojans. But that's number one and number two defensively in the Metroplex in just about every major category. So I think what that shows is over the course of the last half of the season, a lot of strides were made by this team to continue to get better. And knowing Coach Irwin and his club, they're going to continue that through the offseason, through lifting weights, through spring practice, through summer workouts, through two-a-days next August. And I know that they'll come out swinging the end of next August whenever the 2014 season rolls around.
They did not quit for any minute. They were down early. They had the fumble on the very first play from scrimmage, and they responded well and stuck with it the entire game. Caden Smith will be back. Needless to say, that's a weapon for whoever the quarterback ends up being for the Marcus Marauders.
But for the Trinity Trojans, I mean, celebrate this win. This is not really an easy opponent that you had to go up against in Marcus here tonight. The coaching staff will travel down to Floyd Casey Stadium, I believe, is where that Shoemaker game is on.
That is true.
Saturday. It's part of it, yeah, because it's also, I want to say the 7-5A, 8-5A games are happening down there, because I know that the Cedar Hill game you can hear on Champion Sports Radio early Saturday afternoon. That's also at Floyd Casey Stadium. So I think they stacked up some of those games down there so that fans can come down and support their teams. And I know the coaching staff will be down there. And probably tomorrow night, I wouldn't be surprised if they're over at the South Lake Carroll Arlington. Is it Bowie who they're playing?
Yes.
Yeah, they're either going to DVR it because it's on TV tomorrow night, or they're probably going to go to the game and scout who potentially could be their next opponent. This Thursday night game really helping the Trinity Trojans out from that standpoint in a lot of different ways.
The Trinity Trojans are a joy to watch from a football fundamental point of view. Not slinging the ball around everywhere and deviating, or and just kind of doing magic tricks on the field. Instead, it is an absolute clinic what they do. The defensive line, how they reacted to screen passes, how the linebackers shift based on motion play by the offense. Everything that they do speaks of a team that is drilled and well disciplined on defense. And probably one of my favorite things, despite saying all that about how good they are at football, I love what Coach Lineweaver said. Hey, we got finals. Let's get to what our priorities are. Let's get home. Nobody's going to the pizza parlor tonight. We're going to go get ready for our finals and our tests. You got a Thursday game. You got to treat it as such.
And it's interesting because I know Coach Irwin wanted to set up that Hebron-Marcus game on Thursday to end the season. He and Coach Brazel talked about it before the year started. He goes, yeah, they wanted to go out there and be able to scout on Friday night for their first-round playoff opponent because both figured they're probably going to make the playoffs. So as a result, Trinity ended up playing on a Thursday night last week because they were playing at R.L. Turner in a shared stadium in the Carrollton Farmers Ranch School District at Standridge, and it really kind of backfired. He wasn't able to do that. It did give him, however, both Trinity and Marcus a full week to prepare and to play this early Thursday game before they had to go out now. And, it's talking about a long week. They don't even play till a week from Saturday now to Trinity, and it'll be interesting to see who their opponent is going to be. But just a heck of a season for Marcus right now, and I know that the kids are down there and they're emotional. And evidently I don't think they have exams tomorrow because they're all milling around and nobody wants to leave because, when these seniors walk off the field right now, that's the last time they're going to be in uniform for most of them, at any level, for it definitely with a Marcus Marauder M on the side of their helmets. So it's just, this is such a – it's a good growth experience, too, for the young men. I mean, a lot of times in this participation ribbon trophy society we live in, everybody wins and all that other kind of stuff. No, this is the finality of it. They worked hard. They didn't quite accomplish their goal, and it should do nothing more than try to propel them to continue to work hard and to try not to feel like this again. I know it, definitely happened in my case as a youngster, so it's
Well, it's a good point. One of the arguments that is really not a real argument that they say about the bowl system is, well, good. Lots of teams get to end on a win, and that's important to the kids. Well, we make darn sure that all of our high school players end, except for one team, ends on a loss. We bring in other countries to make sure our little leaguers lose their final game, in the Little League World Series. So yeah, it is a lesson that all of them get to learn, and they'll be better next year for it. And there's nothing embarrassing about the Trinity Trojans. That is an absolute powerhouse of a program, and don't let the 8-2 record fool you. They, those two losses, by the way, are against two teams that are 10-0, and Jenks has won 22 games in a row, and DeSoto, having lost last year late in the playoffs, they've won 10 in a row, and they'll make another run. I mean, your two losses are against two of the best teams in the nation. Trinity is ready for a playoff run here. It's just through a tough sledding in the region for sure.
Talking about Jinx, I think they've won 13 state championships. DeSoto, as you mentioned, state semifinalist last year before falling to South Lake Carroll, and it's just amazing the quality of competition that Coach Lineweaver had to line up because nobody wants to play Trinity in non-district if they don't have to. They had to take on DeSoto, one of the best teams in the state of Texas, Tulsa Jinx, one of the best teams in the state of Oklahoma, Bentonville, Arkansas, one of the best teams in the state of Arkansas, to even be able to put together a non-district schedule. And, to the point that we made in the pregame show, 7 out of the last 8 years, Trinity has either won the state championship or fallen just short against the team that did win the state championship. And when you have that kind of success, it's really mind-boggling. It kind of reminds me of the Steelers of the 70s, where, the Cowboys of the 70s, where they were absolutely in contention, it seems like, every single year. And, it's an amazing feat what Coach Lineweaver and this community here in the Mid-Cities has put together.
We'll take a break and come back on the WhirleyBallHEB.com postgame show. You're listening to the Texas High School Playoffs on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're not just celebrating 40 years of caring for our community, but also our ongoing commitment to provide the highest level of health care in Northeast Tarrant County. In fact, we're now the only Level 3 trauma center in the region, not to mention our Cycle 4 chest pain accreditation, Cycle 1 heart failure accreditation, and designation as a certified primary stroke center. After 40 years, we're better than ever, and here's to 40 more. TexasHealth.org/HEB.
You make plans for just about everything: the weekend, vacation, going out to dinner. But have you created a plan for the rest of your life? Start your financial strategy today with AXA Advisors. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC.
If you're a basketball parent or coach, you need StatGeek, the simplest way to keep stats ever created. Our easy-to-use iPad app turns anyone into a professional statistician, and all they have to do is simply follow the ball. Produce full and accurate box scores and play-by-play reports. Send accurate stats out to your fans, media, or recruiters. It's sports statistic collection redefined. StatGeek is available right now in the iPad App Store for just $4.99, and there are team fundraising opportunities available as well. On the web at statgeek.com. StatGeek, keep your eye on the ball.
Are you tired of only spending time as a family huddled around the TV? Would you like to enjoy some culture with your loved ones without breaking the bank? Then let me introduce you to the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. The GDYO provides music education and performance opportunities for musically talented youth, but this is no kids' concert. The GDYO comprises 7 different ensembles made up of over 425 talented musicians ages 8 to 18, representing more than 50 communities in North Texas. You won't believe how amazing these ensembles sound until you hear it for yourself. So join them for one of their concerts at the Meyerson Symphony Center or Dallas City Performance Hall. For more information on how to make a donation, as well as a listing of upcoming GDYO concerts, visit gdyo.org. And if you know a talented young musician interested in an unbelievable experience, auditions take place in the spring. Connect with the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and at gdyo.org. Final score, once again, 49-21, Trinity over Marcus. We go down to the field. Pete Nielsen is with Brian Irwin, the head coach of the Marauders.
Thanks, Thomas. And as always, this is never an easy thing to do when the season comes to an end. But doing it with one of my favorite coaches around, and that makes it even a little harder for me. Coach, your team makes the playoffs. You knew the battle you were going to have tonight. But the one thing you can tell your kids, they never quit.
They never quit, and they came in, they believed. They came in this game and believed that a miracle was going to happen. They believe, yes, we can, yes, we will. They prepared hard. They fought hard. They stepped on the field believing we were going to win the game. We might be crazy for thinking that, but we believe that. And our kids believed it. Our coaches believed it, and I'm proud of our boys.
Never easy. I mean, the finality of this, and you know, I stand back and I watch you talk to your kids and talk to the families. If you would talk, I know it's hard, but talk about the senior class and the last time they've dressed out for you.
Well, I love the senior class. I've been watching them play since they were 7th graders. I've got a son in this class, and I know a lot of these boys even more closely probably than I would normally, a bunch of boys, because I've known them for so long, and they come over to my house and they eat my food and they hang out and play video games, and I love them. I appreciate them. I just told them, I said, shoot, I just hope some of the things that we've done this year and in the program in the past that they'll be better husbands and fathers because of it, and always remember the character traits that we teach on a daily basis, and you know, I want to be great husbands and fathers.
on a positive note, so many underclassmen made a difference for your football team this year. Make spring and getting into next season a whole lot better.
I think so. You know, we've got a bunch of good young kids, good young tough kids that have played a lot of snaps this year and got a lot of experience. So we definitely have a positive side. You know, coming back, looking towards the spring. I think right now, the thing probably to do is to get some rest and get away from this for a little while, because we're all pretty exhausted. We've worked really, really hard, really, really long hours just to try to find a crack in the dam and to try to expose something. And you know, we're gonna be excited about this off season this spring, but everybody needs a break right now.
I know I told you this last week how much I enjoy being around you and your program. I know I speak for Thomas Lee up there and all of us at Champion Sports Radio to thank you for all that you do for your kids at Marcus and the message that you give to your kids. And as always, we wish you luck, and I hate it end this way.
Hey, I thank y'all for serving us, and Champion Sports Radio has been great. Thomas has been great. You guys have been great to us, and you guys are servants, and I really appreciate that, because you're helping kids and you're helping programs and a program like Marcus, and I thank y'all so much.
We'll see you in 10 months. Back up to you guys.
At Tech.
Thank you, Pete. Great interview. Coach Brian Irwin, and it kind of tells you a story there that the teams that go on don't care any more than the teams that go home. Everybody cares deeply, no matter how your season is going. Everybody's trying as hard as they can up to the last second, and the love on that team that you can hear it in his voice, and you could see it as Pete waited for to get a hold of him, and all the hugs and everything, and how important and emotional the whole thing is. Whether you had a successful season or not, you made the playoffs yet again, and the camaraderie and everything that the team has is going to last a lot longer than the wins and losses.
7 seasons at Marcus for Brian Irwin, 7 trips to the playoffs. This is the 3rd time he's had to go up against Trinity in the first round of the playoffs, and that just shows you the tough road that is out there for this team year in and year out, just because of the way that the UIL stacks it up and so forth. But to Coach Irwin's point, and I talked to him about this maybe it was a week or two ago, and it really was interesting. It's like, you know what, Coach, this senior class you have right here, these kids have never known another head coach at Marcus High School except for you. When you stepped in, they were in 7th grade. That's when they started playing football. So through 7th grade all the way up, they've been running your systems. They've been running your schemes. They've been learning your terminology. These kids have known nothing else but Brian Irwin as the head coach of the Marcus Marauders. That in and of itself is a pretty special deal. Then you add on top of that the fact that Cole, Brian Irwin's oldest son, is a senior in this class as well. And that's, as he talked about, and I got a giggle when he said it too. It's like, they come over, they eat my food, they're playing video games here. It's really a special thing. When you live in the community, your kids go to the school, you get to know all these guys from, little 7th graders out there trugging around, not knowing how to throw a football at all. And it's just, I know it's got to be a very bittersweet moment. But as I said before, Brian Irwin's been at Marcus for 7 years now. They have made the playoffs 7 consecutive years. They hadn't made the playoffs since they won the state championship in 1997 until Brian Irwin was hired. So, for those folks out there who may say things like, oh, okay, he just doesn't do that great of a job or whatever, they're only 2-8 going into the playoff game. I absolutely say he is one of the best coaches in the Metroplex, and he's definitely, on a personal level, I think the world of Coach Irwin, and I know that the Marauders will be back better than ever next season.
This is the WhirlyBallHEB.com postgame show. We'll be back in a moment on Champion Sports Radio.
At Texas Health HEB, we're committed to being the #1 hospital in Northeast Tarrant County, and we're doing it in a number of ways, like 550 physicians, 43 unique specialties, 300 beds, and 24-hour emergency service, to name a few. And here's one more number, 40, as in we're proud to be your hometown team for healthcare 40 years and counting. Who's #1 in Northeast Tarrant County? Texas Health HEB. Visit texashealth.org/HEB.
When you want to start a financial strategy, you need one-on-one guidance from some of the best trained professionals in the financial services business. AXA Advisors is part of a global company helping millions of people pursue their financial goals. Contact Thomas Lee with AXA Advisors today to get started on your financial strategy. Call Thomas Lee at 972-455-9114. That's 972-455-9114. Securities offered through AXA Advisors LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA SIPC.
Do you need a boost in exposure? Want to reach local, community-minded folks with information about your business? Join the Champion Sports Radio team and advertise during these games. In the last 4 years, Champion Sports Radio has broadcast over 600 games for more than 3.5 million listeners. And Champion Sports Radio wants to help you use major high school sports to reach thousands of local fans right in your community. It's also a way for your business to give back to the community by helping all these well-deserving student athletes get some recognition for their accomplishments. The cost simply can't be beat for the effect it will have. You get a lot of bang for your buck, and best of all, it provides an opportunity for the best advertisement of all, word of mouth. To secure your prime commercial spot during the broadcast, contact Thomas Lee at Champion Sports Radio by phone at 972-741-0334. That's 972-741-0334 or online at championsportsradio.com. Champion Sports Radio, your home for championship broadcast.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 4 million brain injuries occur every year due to sports in the U.S. They also estimate that 70% of concussions go unreported. Not identifying concussions early can be devastating, especially if the athlete continues to play with symptoms. Catching hard hits fast is critical, and that's why you need the Shockbox Helmet Impact Sensor. The Shockbox is a small sensor that easily attaches to most football, lacrosse, and hockey helmets and instantly sends a signal to a smartphone on the sidelines when the player has taken a hard hit that puts them at higher risk for injury. The free app receives data from the sensor, displays information about the impact, and even walks the user through a concussion assessment. The app also logs symptom and impact data for future medical use. Visit ShopboxDFW.com to learn more about the Shockbox Impact Alert Sensor and determine if it is the right option for your child. Be warned instantly when a player has experienced a head impact that could result in a concussion. Visit ShockboxDFW.com today. ShockboxDFW.com.
Welcome back to the WhirlyBallHEB.com postgame show on Champion Sports Radio. Kerry Lowry with Thomas Lee. Pete Nielsen, you heard doing the interviews. Doug Steele on stats. Let's look at some of Doug's stats from tonight's game. The Trinity Trojans defeating the Marcus Marauders 49-21. Marcus actually had more first downs, 21-15 over Trinity, but Trinity had more total yards, 410 total yards to Marcus 228. One thing interesting, Marcus held the ball for 29 minutes. At one point, they had doubled Trinity in time of possession, but Trinity went on a big 99-yard drive at one point to get that back on their side of the ledger there, and ended it with 19 minutes to the 29 for Marcus.
And also that long drive they had, it was about a 5 or 6 minute drive, I believe, like the early to mid part of the fourth quarter that just drug out, and they slowly, methodically picked up third down conversion after third down conversion. And, you know, whenever you stay on schedule and you have third and short opportunities, it allows you to do exactly that. And that's something that both of these two teams, when they're going right, that's exactly what they're doing. So I know that Coach Irwin and his staff was looking out there going, oh, man, this must feel like to play against us, you know, when we're going good and things are going our way.
Speaking of third down conversions, a very important statistic, and the Trinity Trojans 5 out of 7 on third down made the best of theirs. And like we had talked about, one of the times they did not make their third down conversion, they made a fourth down conversion that ended up a touchdown. They only punted one time the entire game, and it was a 36-yard punt. 3 out of 13 for Marcus on third down. They got themselves into third and long situations, and that's just not where you want to be against a tough top state-ranked defense like the Trinity Trojans have. Penalty-wise, Marcus was pretty clean, 3 for 33, but 10 penalties for 118 yards for Trinity, and that really didn't tell the story. It was probably closer to 250 yards of penalties once you added in 2 kick returns that were called back that amassed about 150 yards worth of virtual penalty yardage there. Rushing the ball, Marcus puts up 133 yards rushing the ball. They that was the average that Trinity was giving up was 103 yards, so Marcus broke through there. And Marcus passed for 95 yards as well. But at the Trinity rushing offense, you know, we kind of talked about it. They had that really tough early season schedule. Not really tough, that's understating it. When you play the defending Oklahoma State champ, then the DeSoto Eagles. In that stretch early, they still had 390 yards per game during that 4-game stretch early. So it's not like anybody stops Trinity, you know, on the offense. And they, you know, Marcus held them to 410 total yards, which is about, you know, it is below their average. So the defense, you know, came through, but a little bit. But Trinity still powers through 330 yards rushing, fantastic offensive line. And that was only on 32 carries, by the way. So think about that. That's 10 yards a carry. They average on the season 8.1 yards a rush. Tonight, over 10 yards a rush.
Talking about the 410 yards that they gave up, that is the least amount of yards that Trinity has rolled up in a ball game since only putting up 408 against Colleyville Heritage to start district play back 2 months ago. And in fact, the 410 is the 4th lowest out of 11 ball games this season as far as Trinity's offensive output goes. So you're saying to yourself, my gosh, they gave up 410 yards of offense. No. Turn that frown upside down. Hey, they only gave up 410 yards of offense against a team that was averaging 482 yards per game coming into the contest.
And we talked about it earlier. We're not that dumb on Champion Sports Radio. We did talk about that this was the toughest opponent Trinity had faced since the Heritage game, and the statistics show exactly that, as they had cleaned through their district 7-0, but the highest-ranked team that they had played on the computer rankings since the Heritage game. So Marcus puts up a good fight there. But, you know, that Trinity Trojan offense came through big. Their running backs, Isaac Ellsworth, he did break an 85-yarder, but 7 carries for 140 yards. Really? I mean, that's like playing Madden football or something. and then of course Homer Babcock, who's 5'4" or something like that. And or no, he's not 5'4".
Babcock's the tall one of the group. He's 5'8". Yeah. Ellsworth at 5'5". Kenneth Gonzalez is 5'4". Edric Gonzalez is 5'5". I mean, seriously, I think I mentioned this broadcast. They corner the market on 5'5" tough high school players. And Pete made a comment off air later on. He's like, yeah, if you don't block for Coach Lineweaver, whether you're a runner or a receiver or whatever, you're not getting on the field. Right. It's that simple. It doesn't matter size, weight. None of that really matters. It's desire and technique, and that's something that even these diminutive guys do extremely well.
Individual statistics for Marcus. Mark Demery, 57 yards. Nate Hopkins, 58 yards. They became a duo in the season. Demery had started the first 4 games, or 5 games, I believe, and Hopkins the next 4. Then Demery came back from injury. They were both together in the backfield, gave some options to Coach Irwin, and they both did pretty well tonight, 57 and 58 yards respectively. Kate Irwin with 26 yards running the Wildcat out of the quarterback position. Mason Ferguson with 4 yards. Alex Albright with 3 yards. Rushing for the Trinity Trojans, Ellsworth we just talked about, Isaac Ellsworth, 140 yards, averaging 20 yards a carry. Homer Babcock, 97 yards. J-Ron Wilson, 41. Kenneth Gonzalez got some touches late. He got 17 yards, including a touchdown. Tyler Nate, 12 yards. And Christian Hammock himself ran early, got a touchdown on the second play from scrimmage for the Trinity Trojans, but he only ran the ball 3 times total for 18 yards. That 16-yard touchdown run, the big one there. And then Michael Perez came in late and got a 5-yard run. Catching the ball, Caden Smith, the leading receiver for both teams. 4 catches, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns. Really good game for him, both on fade patterns into the end zone. Tanner Roots, 19 yards on 3 catches. Alex Albright had a catch for 19 yards as well. On the Trinity side, Edric Gonzalez, who was everywhere, even though he only had 2 catches. He is right near the ball all the time. 2 catches, 35 yards, and a touchdown. DeAndre Gibson had 9 yards on 2 catches. And Will Taylor and Dion Ginyard also had catches, both for 18 yards. Overall, Trinity showed their power. They showed why they are very capable of a full run through the playoffs, Thomas, and I'm impressed having seen them for the first time this season.
The most impressive thing to me as somebody who's now seen 6 ball games this year and spread out over the course of the season is that this team is absolutely should have beaten Jinx in the first game of the season, had a 10-point lead in the third quarter, and unfortunately Jinx just had an improbable comeback to continue their winning streak. But it's amazing how much better they are now, and I think it's most evident, and we talked about it. Heck, Coach Lineweaver talked about it too. Christian Hammock has just come light years in his improvements since the start of the season. This Trinity club is going to be a tough one, and of course now they will play the winner of Saturday's contest between Mansfield Timberview and Killeen Shoemaker. That's 5 o'clock at AT&T Stadium, Cowboy Stadium, if you will, a week from Saturday. And in fact, you want to keep caught up in all the 5-5A, 6-5A Bidistrict matchups. We got them all for you here on Champion Sports Radio. Tomorrow night, you can listen to Coppell Irving. You can listen to Colleyville Heritage and Denton Ryan. That's going to be a very good ball game. LD Bell, I think Hebron's a better team in that one, but maybe Bell's going to right some wrongs after last week. I think the best game, though, of those 3 tomorrow night is going to be that Colleyville Heritage Denton Ryan game because both teams are playing really well right now. They both come in hot. Heritage with a huge win over Bell last week. Denton Ryan scampering through district play with only the loss to the Hebron Hawks. And they also had a loss to Coppell. So, again, they have played extremely well coming into it. I think that may be the best opportunity for somebody from 6-5-8 to join Trinity in the next round because Ryan, Hebron, Coppell all kind of seem to be maybe favorites except for that Colleyville Heritage Denton Ryan game. That's going to be a good one. So that sets up, with that quadruple header a week from Saturday at Cowboy Stadium, all those games more than likely are going to be on Champion Sports Radio with the one exception of if Ryan knocks off Colleyville Heritage, we won't have that one. But we will have probably Hebron, Cedar Hill matchup is probably how that looks. Trinity, Timberview, it's a 5 o'clock game. Coppell, DeSoto, anybody want a little part of that one? Last year, that was not a very pretty ball game. But
Doug and I were there for that.
Yeah, I know you remember. So I'd like to think that this Coppell team may be more adept at slowing down that Trinity, the DeSoto attack, but few teams have been able to do that this year. So
it's powerhouse against powerhouse. You knew it was going to happen. Everything finally shakes down. You get to the playoffs. There is no break. You get to face, sometimes in the first round of the NCAA tournament, you get a gimme game. There aren't any gimme games in the Texas high school football playoffs. You go straight up right away, and you face tough teams right from the get-go. And, as good as Timberview is, wouldn't be surprised if Shoemaker pulls that off. I think Heritage can beat Ryan. I really do. I think they can pull that off. And Hebron is one of those dark horse teams. I think the Morning News even wrote about that, how they're kind of hiding in the weeds because they're in the Coppell district. But boy, howdy, they can play, and you'll get to hear that entire run on Champion Sports Radio too. Good year for Champion Sports Radio to have some playoff teams going.
Yeah, it's nice and spread out. We've got the 2 Plano teams in Region 2. We've got, unfortunately, a week from Saturday, it looks like we're going to have a showdown between Hebron and Cedar Hill because I think both of those 2 teams could make really deep runs if they hadn't collided this early. But I'm not counting out Colleyville Heritage, and Coppell and Trinity are stalwarts that year in and year out always are threats to make a run at a state championship.
Good night here at Pennington Field, the home of the Trinity Trojans. It's probably the last time they'll play here this season. They did get the it's not a gift, but they did get, it is a nice central location. Lots of playoff games get played at this location. It just happened to be a Thursday night, and this place is available, and Trinity got to play here. But they'll probably have to go on the road for the rest of the season. Again, they're 7th out of 11 games this season that they got to play on their home field. And the reason for that is they have their own home games, plus when they play Bell, they play here too. So, and then their playoff game. So nice season so far at Pennington, and they'll close this one down for Trinity Trojans at least here. All right, well, I want to thank everybody who brought you tonight's game. The president of Champion Sports Radio is sitting right next to me. His name is Thomas Lee. He's also our analyst for tonight's game. Our sideline reporter tonight with that great interview of Coach Brian Irwin, Pete Nielsen, our sideline guy. And on stats, as always, Doug Steele, punching the buttons, giving us all the numbers. So for Thomas, Pete, and Doug, I'm Kerry Lowry, thanking you for listening to the Trinity Trojans defeating the Marcus Marauders 49-21. The playoffs continue next weekend on Saturday at 5 o'clock when the Trojans face the winner of the Timberview Shoemaker playoff game this weekend. Until then, good night, everyone, from Bedford, Texas. And good night, Nash.
Darkest of night with the moon shining bright. There's a set going strong.